Jason Fladlien here on behalf of Wilson Matos and the whole staff of Rapid Crush Inc. We officially welcome you to this call today. I was going to say training, but it's not really a training. It's not really a webinar. It is something else, something non-typical of what you're used to seeing from us. And typically when you have normal stuff, you do things the normal way. When you have extraordinary stuff, you have to do things in an extraordinary way. Now, hopefully you have no problem with seeing my face, because that's what you're going to get most of today. I don't have a lot of slides prepared. I will show some slides later. I wish I had the time to really go crazy on slides. I love doing that. I love making things visual. It only takes another 50 or 60 hours to get my point across. And if I had that, I would have done that. We don't have that. Today, we have urgency because there is an offer that I'm going to show at the end of this presentation that expires tomorrow night. I think it is a one-of-a-kind offer. I think for some of you, it is going to be the thing that changes everything for you. And I think for most of you, even if it's just a offer, it will still make you more money than anything else that you can invest in. So I'm proud of that. I'm excited about that. But I also screwed up. I got too cute with my marketing. I dressed it up, and I should have just came straight to you with this offer, because when you have something this powerful and this effective, it's usually simplest if you say, here's what I got, here's why you should get it, here's some clarification, here's some insight. I should have done that. I didn't. Now I'm trying to correct in the 11th hour of this whole thing because I think it's so important. I'm willing to own up to my mistakes if that means maybe I can reach you and help you. Because the reality is this. I believe I have something for you today that is better than anything else that you can invest in right now. And this isn't going to be lackadaisical. This is my 5-page outline that I wrote this morning to draw from as inspiration and instruction and structure. So regardless of what you end up doing at the end of this webinar today, whether you buy from me, whether you don't buy from me, whether you say, I don't want to do the model that you show, Jason, or if you say, I'm going to do this model, but I don't need you, Jason, because that's true. Anybody can do this without us. Hopefully, though, you'll see why it makes more sense to do it with us. But whether you buy or not, I promise you that your time is going to be worthwhile today. That even if you don't buy, I'm still going to give you a roadmap so you can take advantage of this revolutionary new method. I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm going to let that sink in. Revolutionary method. Sounds like hype, right? I'm sure you hear that all the time. Well, sometimes it's true. I believe it's true today. In spirit with revolution and being different than normal, I'm doing a lot of stuff backwards today. So today I'm going to serve you dessert first. Normally, I go with the appetizers, then the main course, and then we tack on the dessert at the end. Today, I'm going to attempt to give you dessert first, then give you the main course, and then if you wish to, I have a second helping of dessert for you if you want to claim it. So here's why I normally don't do it this way. Normally, it has more impact, and you can value and understand the insight better if I build up to it, if I set the stage for it, if I provide the proper context for it, because then it will have more impact. And if it's the right kind of impact for you, I will be able to reach you and help you. Because far too often in this business with Wilson and I, for every person whose lives we changed, we were this close to changing 10 more people's lives. But for whatever reason, we didn't reach them, we didn't get through to them, we didn't communicate it in the right way, whatever the case may be. And so this is why it's important for me to put things in the right order so you understand that. But I'm going to give you dessert first, and I'm going to give it to you in the next 3 minutes or less. A gigantic, one-of-a-kind, oh my God, what are they up to? Isn't that crazy? So pay attention. In about 3 minutes or less, I'm going to reveal that to you right away. But let me set the stage for that so I can deliver it to you in less than 3 minutes. If you bought Apple stock on the day that it went public, imagine having a time machine where you could go back and execute an order for Apple stock the day it goes live. The day it went live, it was $22 a share. Okay? If you would have bought 10 measly shares, one for each finger, you would have had to put down $220. And that $220 invested day number one, when Apple went public, today, many years later, is worth, at the close of the market last Friday, $189,728. Not a bad ROI, wouldn't you agree? 220 to 189K. My point is it pays to be early if you're early for the right things. See, the early gold miners, they get the most gold. Even if their shovels aren't the sharpest, even if they don't know exactly where to dig, even if they don't have the skill set, right? So it pays to be early. So typically on these big new stocks, the people that make the most money aren't the savviest investors. Warren Buffett wasn't buying most of these stocks on day one. Friends and family, those connected, those on the inside, those are the early adopters where that wins. So it'd be fantastic if you had a crystal ball and you could say, I'm going to pick the stock. I'm going to buy Amazon the day it goes public, or I'm going to buy Google or Tesla or whatever the day that it goes public, and then wait it out 20, 30, 40 years and then cash in big. Now, few stocks do what Apple does, though. Most of the stocks that you get on early, or in most businesses online that you get on early that seem to be the latest, greatest, hottest new thing, they're what I call high risk, high reward. And sometimes the risk is higher than the reward. Because for every Apple stock story there is out there, there's a million stocks that even if you got in at a penny, you would have overpaid for them. So this is the art. This is the balance. You have to be early, but you have to be early for the right things. And you have to have patience. So even if you're early for the right things, like an Apple stock purchase, you still have to wait 40 years to recoup on that, to harvest the fruit, get it, of your investment. Now, what if there was a way instead? Okay, come closer, my children. What if there was a way instead that you could have been, boom, first in line to buy stock on Apple on day one? And you call up your broker and you say, listen, I want to execute an order to purchase Apple stock, but I only want to do it if you'll agree to my terms. And your broker, who's your best friend in the world, greatest guy, your broker says, okay, what's your terms? You say, listen, if the stock doesn't 4X itself in 90 days, I want you to personally write me a check for 4 times the money that I'm going to give you today to buy Apple stock. So I want you as a broker, this is you talking about buying Apple stock, to say the worst case scenario, 90 days from now, whatever the stock does, I will get 4 times back whatever I put in. Now, if I get back more than 4 times, you don't have to cut me a check. But if I get back less than 4 times, you will make me whole. So even if the stock went to 0, you'd cut me a check for 4 times what I put in. Okay? Now, does the stock market work that way? No. Does the world work that way? Not really. Everything has inherent risk. Everything you have to weigh the pros and cons. Do I put money in? Am I okay with losing some of that money? Is the effort to realize the return on that money worth it or not? Okay? But this is the dessert. This is the guarantee that we're going to offer you here today at the end of this training. Because I believe we're sitting on the tip, day one of a revolution. And whether you do it right or just do it at all is of little consequence. The fact that you do it is what's important, more so than the proper technique or the proper execution or the proper approach. That is so less important. What's important is getting in right away. So we're going to do what your broker will never do for you. We're going to do what you almost never see. We're going to do what we almost never do, because most of the time we can't do what we're going to do here today, which is essentially, if the offer makes sense for you at the end, and you'll know or not if it does, I'm going to say, listen, whatever you invest, if you don't make 4X from it, we will make you whole. We will guarantee it to the point that no matter what, you will make money from it. If you think that sounds ridiculous, if you think that that sounds impossible, if you're saying something to yourself right now like that sounds too good to be true, or you're saying there's got to be some crazy catch involved, or this has got to be some sort of gimmick or something, good. Don't believe me yet. Just be aware of it and pay attention to why I would do something like this and what the conditions are going to be. And then when the opportunity reveals itself, you can see, does this make sense or not, right? But I don't want you to leave too early, because time is of the most important of resources that we have right now. We have lack of time. So I need your attention. I need your focus. And I just wanted to let you know up front, we have engineered a situation which I believe every single one of you on this call could qualify for, that you're going to make 4x your money in a very short period of time. And I'm so confident in that, I'm willing to back it, put my money where my mouth is. So do I have your attention? Are you the least bit interested? Is your curiosity piqued on what's going on here? All right? That's why we're here today. Now, here's the deal. I'm a young looking guy, maybe, arguably. I feel older and older every single day. But I've been in internet years. I'm a dinosaur. And I've noticed a pattern on the internet space that occurs like clockwork. Every 5 to 7 years, it's inevitable that a cycle occurs. Every 5 to 7 years, this market, online marketing, digital marketing, internet marketing, whatever you call it, making money online is like, that's what I like to call it, right? Every 5 to 7 years, how you make money online gets massively disrupted. And when it gets massively disrupted, a lot of fortunes get made. Some of them even just accidentally. Now, the first time that I was part of a disruption, I was on it from the side you're on right now, the customer side. I didn't create it. I didn't help shape it. I didn't get behind promoting it and putting it out there, but I reaped the benefit as a customer. I got in on the ground floor, and it was the difference for me. Now, I got in literally on the ground floor. What I mean by that is I slept on the ground when I got in. I invested in a pretty big course with a pretty big price tag to it when I had a pretty small bank account, and it changed my life. Now, I don't know if you know, I've done it so many times where I've had people down to the last dollar invest with us and it changed their life. So I'm a proponent of that because I've experienced that. Now, a lot of people give me crap about that. Oh yeah, that's a slick Tupperware salesman's type of way to sell it. Whatever, I don't know. Maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't. All I know is the facts are the facts. I got in on the ground floor of the first revolution as a customer, and thank God that I did, because it's the best place to be as a customer. So that was the first time I experienced a revolution online. So the second time I experienced a revolution online, I would call it luck. Now, some of you get offended when you hear the word luck next to making money or next to creating a business or being an entrepreneur or whatever the case may be. All I know, I was at the right time at the right place. So I didn't intentionally say, oh, there's a revolution coming. Let me get in front of it so that way I can mine the gold, be an early miner of gold and just dig. And when there's nobody else digging, take all the gold, right? So the second time I experienced this really was life-changing for me. I made a lot of money, but I didn't really consciously understand it or was aware of it. Now, the third time that this happened, a lot of you who have followed me, this happened really in 2013. And this time, when I saw the revolution, I got behind it and tapped into it. I wasn't there before day one. I was aware of it on day one, and then I worked for the next 2 years to help my customers and clients take advantage of it. And we made over 100 first-generation millionaires from scratch with this opportunity, over 100. We made close to 1,000 people financially independent in a very short period of time because I saw the opportunity. I said, this is the next revolution. I went all in on it. I developed crazy resources and went extra hard to help as many people as possible take advantage of it. We broke every single record in our space of the internet marketing in terms of results, customer results, investments, opportunities, value propositions where we gave more than anybody had ever given anybody at any point in time for free if they invested through us, all that kind of stuff, because we saw the revolution. We didn't start it. We recognized it, and then we ran as fast as we possibly could to take advantage of it. But now we're on the fourth revolution. And this time, I see the pattern. This time, I was ahead of it since before day one was there. Because in fact, this was one of many revolutions that I recognize as potential revolutions. So I had been seeding and investing and putting money into and exploring time, several different things that I thought could break through. And one of them did. So we were able to prepare for the revolution ahead of time this time. And I think back to in 2013 when we had the revolution of the Amazon business, we literally had customers who just by putting up a product on Amazon became millionaires. I would like to say it was because of my charismatic personality and my ability to teach and our service team at Rapid Crush from customer support responding in 57 minutes or less to an inquiry, right? I would love to say it was all those things, but most of it was being at the right place at the right time, because the early miners make the most amount of gold, all right? So I believe I have that now. However, on one hand, does it really matter if I have that or not? Because here is the criteria for your success or failure online. This is where my hope is you're going to gain a lot of insight. So regardless of how you move forward to obtain your wealth online, you will look back on this presentation today and say, wow, Jason really clarified a lot of things for me. Wow, Jason really hit the nail on the head of what I was struggling with. And now that I understand it, I'm not going to struggle with it anymore. Wow, Jason was able to give me focus and help me know what to focus on and more importantly, what not to focus on. Wow, okay, now I know where the pitfalls are, so if I avoid them, I can be successful. Because here's the deal. If you want to make money online, in a nutshell, to make it as simple as possible, because a lot of people, they try to hit a target with a blindfold on, and it's no wonder that they miss it. Here's the target. Here's what you need. You need a group of people to sell something to. You need something to sell to that group of people. And then you need a way to deliver what you sell. That's it. So let me say that again. You might want to write this down. I would absolutely recommend you write this down, because every marketing promotion I put together, every time I look at a market and determine how to be successful and make millions of dollars, I go back to those three things. We got to identify the right group of people to sell to. We got to sell the right thing to them. And then we got to deliver it. Those three things. That's it. Just three things. So let me ask you a question, since we're on here live together. When it comes to getting a group of people to sell to, you're going to fall into one of three categories. And I want you to identify yourself so I can get a feel of who's here and where you're at. Okay? So some of you already have a group that you've successfully sold something to. So if that's you, say me into the chat. You already have a group of people that you've sold something to. And now you can easily reach them if you wish to communicate with them further. So most of you are my group of customers who have bought something from me or who I've reached in the past and I can reach again with an email, right? So if that's you, say me. And here's what I want to tell you. Awesome. If that's you, what I have today, I expect you to buy first and fastest. Because making money for you with this method is going to be easier than anything else you're trying right now. Simple as that. That's a layup for me. No big deal. Now, my guess is less than 3% of you, probably closer to less than 1% of you fall into that category. Because why would you be here? You'd already be out there with your customers, messing around with them, trying to make money, trying to serve them, whatever the case may be. So I know I'm talking to the minor minority of those, I'm guessing, and later on Will can tell me if I was right or wrong, that most of you do not have a group of people you've already successfully sold something to. And so how do you stand? Well, normally that's the biggest barrier of entry to success or failure online. But what I have for you today, I believe will elegantly solve that. So that's the first category. Second category is this. You have a group of people in mind and you're very confident that if you go after them, it's going to make you money. You haven't went after them yet, but at least clearly in your mind, you say, I know who I want to go after as a group. Here's who I want to reach. And here's who I want to connect with. Sorry, I wrote some notes on my white wall over there. That's why I'm looking at that, right? Here's who I want to reach and here's who I want to connect with. And you have a clear picture in your mind. Doesn't mean that you've actually reached them. Doesn't mean you've actually connected with them. Doesn't mean you have done anything other than identified them. So if that's you, at least you have somebody in mind that you want to sell something to and serve. Type in me into the chat so we can see you and understand who's in that second group. You know the target, but you haven't fired the arrow at it yet. You at least have a clear picture in your mind that says, I'm pretty confident that if I can reach these people and I want to reach these people, then I would be successful. So if that's you, go ahead and type me into the chat. And my guess is about 20% of you fall into that category. That you have at least passed step one. And by the way, showing up is half the battle. Just having that person in mind will put you at an advantage. And so I'm guessing just the first two groups have covered about 20, 25% of those of you who are on the webinar. So my real belief, and we'll see if I'm right or not, is that 75% of you, most of you, don't even have a clue who you should sell to. You haven't even gotten that far yet. And if that's you, go ahead and type in me into the chat box. Good. I don't care if you do or not. It's not important whether you do or not, but we have to acknowledge where we're at before we can go to where we need to go. So if you don't have a clue, who should I sell to? I don't know. I don't have a target market, Jason. I don't know what niche even means. I have no clue who I should sell to or what I should sell. Just say me. It's not good or bad. It just is. And by the way, you're probably the easiest for me to help get your first win today. Because sometimes a lot of people have an idea of who they should sell in their head that I wouldn't recommend you sell. Because the dollar is worth different things to different people. And some groups of people are easier to service and sell than other groups of people. So I'd rather take somebody with a blank slate who says, Jason, I'm open to whoever you tell me in terms of targeting that I should go after. Great. I will service you. Regardless though, that's you. That's step one. You either have somebody you've already sold that you can sell something else to, you have a group of people in mind that you'd like to sell something to but haven't moved forward yet, or you don't even know who you should talk to or who you should target. Doesn't matter. Regardless of what you try to do online, you have to solve that problem. And most people, they get stopped at the start. They don't even know who to sell to. All right? We're going to come back and talk about that here in a little bit. I'm going to give you some insight on that. The second aspect, do you remember this? You should be writing this down. The second one is, now that you've identified who you should sell to, now you have to identify what you should sell to them. Interesting, huh? So once you identify a group, here's usually the situation you face yourself. And I know this because I've done more consulting for high-priced hourly fees than just about anybody. You have an existing product and you haven't sold it yet, but you want to sell it. So you're like, I got a group of people, Jason. I want to sell this product to them. What do you think? Here's what I think. Scary. That's scary. Because what your audience wants and what you think they want are often on two different planets. So I would rather find out what an audience wants and then create it and get paid first than to create something and try to force my square peg solution down their round hole throat. Right? So if that's you, I'm a little nervous, but whatever it is, I'm sure we could salvage it, tweak it, adjust it. Okay? Maybe you already have a successful existing selling product. And oh my God, that's awesome. Because I'm going to show you how to take an existing successful product, repurpose it, reposition it, and probably make 5 times as much money with 1/5 the effort to the same people who bought your product. I mean, that's shooting fish in a barrel. That's as easy as it gets. Or you're in the third group. You have no clue what to sell at all. So not only do you not have an audience in mind of who you should sell to, you have no clue at all what you should sell. So you're 0 for 2. You completely have no clue about anything. Great. You're exactly who we had in mind. You're the exact person, more so than anybody else, because those other two groups, easy peasy, right? I'll make them a lot of money, but it doesn't get my heart racing in the morning. I don't get super excited, right? That's like making a millionaire another $1 million. Big deal. I love taking somebody who is completely saying, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. I have no clue who to serve. I have no clue who to sell. I don't have any idea, but I have a desire to grow my wealth or to make money or to start my own business and not have to be a corporate slave for somebody else. You're exactly who I had in mind when I created this guarantee today. You're exactly who I had in mind when I tapped into this opportunity, because that's how revolutions happen. Revolutions happen when people who have no idea of who to sell to and what to sell get an even playing field, or probably an uneven playing field where it's more on your advantage and less in everybody else's advantage. Okay. Now what's the third step? So you got to identify who you want to sell to. You got to identify what you want to sell. Then you have to deliver it. I have seen more people die trying to set up their delivery system than anything else, right? Because they'll spend the equivalent of 123 years in stress to get this thing configured, to get it up and going, just to fulfill on whatever they think they're going to sell to whoever they think they're going to sell it to. This is the biggest roadblock in most of your ways. You could have the greatest product in the world, serve the best market in the world, but you still take so damn long to put it on an online platform, to where it can be delivered. A structure, a setup, a technical issue. This kills more fortunes than anything I've ever seen, is the technical stuff, right? So there's a couple different ways that you can deliver something. The ultimate way that you eventually want to get to is your own website, your own online system, everything configured and controlled 100% by you. So that's what we do here at Rapid Crush. Now, once you can write the checks for the payroll that we write every single month, Will and I, to have other people who are really good at that tap into other things that we have proprietarily developed to smooth the system out and all that stuff, and have the technical understanding to do that, great, go there, right? Now, this is going to run counter to what a lot of people are going to tell you in this market. They're going to sell you because they know you believe that you need some very complicated system online, and there's a never-ending list of individuals who will sell you very high, expensive, overly complicated Swiss Army knife convoluted solutions to do this. But for most of you, that's going to harm you more than it will help you. So ultimately, it's what you want to strive to. It's the most complicated, yet most rewarding eventually. And that's the kind of stuff that you pay other people to do. You got to pay the right people, and you got to know what to pay them for. So don't do that today. And I'm telling you, even if you're a pro at that in other areas of your life where you've made money, don't do it for this. Follow the process that I'm going to show you today, because I think there's value in the process, okay? The other way that you can deliver products is through physical fulfillment. So sending it in the mail. And that's expensive, and it has a lot of moving parts. It's not technical, but it's logistically complicated. So the most popular way is third-party platforms. So one of the reasons we loved Amazon is because they took care of all that heavy lifting. Now, they took 15% of the sale, at least, actually a lot more, but at least they took care of all that heavy lifting. Third-party platforms, they're good in some ways, they're not so good in other ways. I like to evaluate a third-party platform for delivery on the help versus get in the way ratio. So with Amazon these days, it's about a 1-to-1. They're just about as painful to deal with as they are valuable for what they do. They're great in a lot of ways, but boy, they drive you nuts in some other ways, right? So they're just good enough to deal with, barely, right? Just barely there. So other third-party platforms, they may have more of a help you get it out there, help you leverage it, and less of a get in the way, because every system is going to have its limitations. Your ability to accept the limitations and just be like, this doesn't really matter. I don't really care about this. We can fix this later. It's not important to me making money today. Not really. Your ability to handle that is going to help you be successful the more you're okay with that when you're getting something started. Now, when there's a revolution, when there's a gold rush, when there's the early adopter advantage, that kind of stuff is inconsequential. You want to find the stuff that gets you to the market as fast as possible. So I call this SOS, speed of service. And that's what's going to attract more money into your life faster than anything possible. You need the opportunity, the right once-in-a-lifetime type of opportunity, and then you need speed of service, speed to market, right? So what is your delivery system for this approach that I'm going to teach you here today? And here's why I'm excited about it. Your best approach is to initially use a third-party system, one that has the least amount of hoops to jump through, the least amount of T's to cross, the least amount of I's to dots, the ones that have the most benefits in terms of how they're going to help actually get you traffic for free, and the ones that are going to help customers have a great experience independent of whatever it is you sell, just naturally speaking. And they're going to be a system that doesn't require a whole bunch of money up front to pay to either have access to the system or pay to have somebody configure it for you. So it needs to be set up extremely quickly, and it's got to help you solve the issue of getting traffic and creating this amazing experience for your customers. And then you want something that doesn't hold you hostage. Because certain systems out there, they're great, but boy, are they like a pair of golden handcuffs. They will limit your long-term growth for your short-term potential, and that's not good with me. So we want to cross all these off the list. If we had the perfect design and set it up, right, it'd be third-party delivery system that I could set up in less than 1 hour, and I could set it up for free, and it would blow my customers' minds, and I could do this regardless of my understanding of how things work online. That's what we want. I believe that's what we have for you today. So what should you sell? Great question. And this is always a challenge for me when I'm addressing a large audience, because some of you are biased to a certain medium of selling. See, that's like being biased to a certain currency. I'll take dollar bills, I'll take yen, right? I'll take pesos, I'll take francs, I'll take pounds, I'll take all the other currencies that I'm not even aware of and I don't know how to pronounce. Give me all your money. I don't care what it is, right? I'll take it. But some of you are like, no, I only want money if it's this type of finances or currency. There's currency converters these days, okay? So I'm saying for you, you should be open to what are the easiest things that I can sell that require the least amount of work on my part, have the most impact on my audience, have the best profit margins. And who cares in what format specifically they come in? But let's talk about some of the formats that you've been sold on or that you've sold yourself on to thinking, this is what I sell, this is what I do, this is who I am, right? So the first type of product you can sell is info products. This is my personal favorite type of product to sell. It has the highest profit margins, and it really has the biggest impacts on customers' life if you can pull it off. Because there is nothing more valuable to me than when somebody says, you changed my life. Because of what you said in this product over here, I now have hope where previously I only had suffering and despair. That chills me just thinking about it now. So that's why it's one of my favorites. It has great profit margins too, but here's the problem with it. It requires a lot of creativity. You have to engineer either information that is one of a kind or information that's done more effectively with impact, even if it's like fundamental type of information. And here's what's going to cost most of you when you sell an information product. You will never get over this. It's going to be too hard for you to accept, and you will self-sabotage. You got to be okay and comfortable knowing that most of the people who pay you money for your info products will never really use those info products. Some of them will not even open them or download them ever, even if they pay you lots of money for them. And you got to get over that. You got to be like the gym membership who says, listen, you want to come in and use my exercise equipment? Fantastic. But if you paid me and you don't show up and use it, that's on you. But a lot of people can never get over that. So not everything is perfect. Nothing is perfect. Everything has its pros and it has its cons, its advantages and disadvantages. But those are the limitations with info products. For most of you, info products are going to be more trouble than they're worth. If you're somebody right now who already has specialized expert knowledge, if you're somebody who's really jazzed up because you are an info product connoisseur yourself, and I probably have bought more info products than anybody on this call, right? Then great. That's a good model. I don't think you should sell it though. Not today. What about one-on-one coaching? One-on-one coaching is probably the easiest, quickest way for you to make $10,000 a month, especially if you already have experience. But even if you don't have experience and expertise, most of the value in coaching doesn't come from the talking, it comes from the listening. It's the easiest sell to make. It's something you get paid first and fulfill upon later. And a lot of people will be excited if you take them through some prerequisite steps to get on the phone with you. But I know for a lot of you, that's very scary. So it could, because of its intimacy, because what if I screw up? So it can make you money the quickest, and it's the easiest to spin up where you get paid first, fulfill on it second, but it has its own issues. So I'm not going to recommend you start here today, or maybe even ever do it, right? It works. Sometimes it doesn't work for some other people, right? So the third thing you can sell is one-to-group type of coaching, whether it's 1 to 3, 1 to 5, 1 to 10, or 1 to 100. Doesn't matter, right? This is a much harder sell initially because since it's not 1-to-1, you have to build the right type of pitch, require the right type of offer and excitement, and really build up reciprocity and value in advance before you make a deal, and then you have to manage it. It's way more lucrative than most other formats online because you put in the same amount of time you would with one-to-one coaching, but you're not limited to the number of people that you can take on. You can take on as many as you can sell, right? So this requires a lot of skill to pay off. So eventually, this might make sense for you to offer. And yeah, I know it's trading time for dollars, but if the amount of dollars is so much greater than the amount of time, we all have a price that we'll say yes to, okay? Now, physical products, that's another thing that you could sell. And a lot of you on this call, you're big physical product proponent sellers, mainly because I induced you and got you excited and sold you on the concept of selling physical products. And here's the real challenge with physical products. You either have to sell these generic Me Too style products, which I'm okay with, right? If everybody's buying the same type of cheese grater and I just make my cheese grater easier to find, I'll take the money, because that's a way that you can help a customer. If everybody else has their cheese grater on the top shelf and you got to get like a freaking person with a ladder out to climb up and get it, that's not servicing the customer. If you make yours eye level to the person who's looking for a cheese grater when they walk in the store, you're the first one handing out cheese graters, that is of service. It's not a product differentiation. But online, that means you have to play the algorithm game. You have to rank this higher in the search engines like Amazon or Google, or you have to make it easier to find than other commodity-based products. It's a solid, strong model, but that's the game you have to play. Or you go the other way. You create products that are one of a kind, that are unique, that are innovative, that are slick, that are cool. The problem with those is they usually require more time up front and more money up front. And there's all sorts of unseen hidden hurdles and obstacles that will get in your way. Trust me. I gave up on that game a long time ago of these unique one of a kind products. I was like, that's just too much, right? Now you can sell software, but software is even harder than physical products in the terms of you got to spend even more time, more money, and develop them, and they're much harder to sell. But if by some small miracle that it can happen, it will be the most lucrative. But here's the refinement of everything that I just said. Here's what will change your life, even though it's so simple. So it risks you ignoring this and not being aware of this. And I've worked with a couple billionaires who make this mistake. So you don't have to get everything right to be successful. But the better you get what I'm about to tell you, the better you understand it, the easier it will be for you to make money, massive amounts in minimum time, right? Whatever you sell, you don't sell a product. You sell a solution, period. And you say, duh, Jason, I've heard that a million times. Well, have you? Have you really? Because 99% of the time when I get on a group coaching call or a one-on-one consultation, or I'm in a mastermind that everybody pays a whole bunch of money to be a part of, or wherever the case may be, I don't care who it is, beginner, advanced, pro, Hall of Famer, veteran, rookie, everyone in between, everybody's talking about product. Nobody's talking about solutions. I like selling solutions because the product is of little consequence. Remember earlier when I say making the cheese grater easier to find, that's the solution that you're selling, is ease of finding it for the right person, not the cheese grater, right? Info products are the same way. I would rather sell a 3-page info product that contains the right 3 pages to the right audience because it's about the result they get. But who sells those types of products? Nobody, because they're focused on an info product needs to be this wide, this long. It's got to have this many margins. It's got to have this many pages, and it's got to look, talk, smell, act, and quack like a duck or like a blank or whatever, right? So I want you to focus on a solution and work backwards for that. I want you to be agnostic to the format of the product. I want you to be more focused on the solution of the product. The product is a byproduct. They will buy product for solutions. Like I tell clients all the time, nobody ever wants to get on a webinar. You don't want to get on this webinar we're on here today. I don't want to give you this webinar, right? You want a solution to your problem, and I want to provide you that solution. It just so happens we're using a webinar in order to do it. That's it. Nothing more to it. Nobody wants to read a book. They want to get an outcome, and they're willing to struggle through a book if they think that that book gives them the outcome. But if they could get that outcome instead on a 3x5 note card, they would happily pay twice as much for one 3x5 note card than they would for a 400-page book, because it's not the product that they want, not the smart customers. And you only want to sell to smart customers because it only takes a few of them to make $1 million. You could take dumb customers all day long if you want to, but you probably won't make any money, and they're so damn hard to deal with because they're dumb. They want the book. They don't want the solution. We don't want to sell to them, right? We want to sell to the people that said, I want a 3x5 note card, Jason, and I'll pay 10 times as much for it because I want to pay for what I don't have to read versus what I do have to read. So you sell solutions. So say this out loud. Type it into the chat right now. I sell solutions. You don't sell products. The product is the byproduct, okay? So who should you sell to? Who should you sell to? What's the easiest way for you to make money? What audience is the golden audience, the perfect audience, the audience that you should target, that you should have in mind when you want to reach and connect with them, when you want to attract them, when you want to pursue them, once you want to work backwards and see what solutions they need? Who should you sell? Okay? Here's the top of the list. If you have this, this is the best position to ever be in. You should sell to a group of people who have previously given you money. And again, that may be 3% of you on this call, probably less than that. But I'm letting you know that's the most important. So a lot of systems that people are selling you today, that says, try my system. This system will teach you how to make a whole bunch of money. And then what happens is when you investigate those systems, you realize that that system worked in situations where that person already had a group of people who had previously given them money. So even though it worked for them, it won't work for you until you get a group of people who have previously given you money. Unfortunately, most of this is done in that way, which is why you buy courses and you struggle, because you're still missing that. You're missing that thing. So I say, Jason, if I don't have a group of people who have previously given money to me, what's the next best audience to sell to? It is a group of people who you've helped a lot for free. And here's why that's important. On a lesser level, it's because it creates reciprocity. I'm not a huge fan of selling based on reciprocity, but people will want to give you money because they feel like they got something from you and they want to return that by giving you something back. So you go first, you serve first, you sell second, right? Every webinar I've done is based on that concept of service first, sell second, okay? Which I think is more important. The reciprocity is there and that can help you and all that good stuff. But what I like the most about that, it is a low risk way to prove yourself that you may just have a solution for your audience. And that makes it so much easier for you to sell. So much more comfortable selling it too. Oftentimes if you do this, you will exhaust people's patience and they will say, shut up and take my money. They will command it, especially at the beginning. Think of how Tesla started, right? Tesla started with an automobile that nobody almost could afford. But the people who bought it, they had a waiting list miles long. They had a waiting list of people who paid them a lot of money to wait for years to then pay them more money to then get the car. Interesting. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a bit. Okay. So if you don't have a group of people who've already previously given you money, and you don't have a group of people who you've helped a lot for free before you ask them to give you money for a solution, right? Then what's your next one on the list? Your next one on the list is a group of people who are recommended to you from someone that they trust. Can you get that? Now, here's what I know about you. You won't believe me. You will resist me. You will fight this. You will make it more complicated than it has to be. But every single one of you on this call, if you had just a little tenacity, you could convince somebody to take a shot with you, to risk you in front of their audience. You could. I know most of you won't believe that no matter how much I try to preach that to you, no matter how many systems I give you that walk you through that step by step, but you could. So a few of you are going to hear that. It's going to resonate with you and you say, damn it, Jason, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to make a whole bunch of money. Hopefully you do prove me wrong. I would love to be wrong if you got richer as a result of that, right? So a couple of you, that's going to happen. Fantastic. Most of you, you're not ready for that yet. So you have to go to the group that everybody else goes to, strangers. And that's okay. I started this business selling to strangers. I didn't have affiliates. I didn't have joint venture partners. I didn't have relationships that I could leverage. I didn't serve anybody for free. I just started selling something to a group of strangers because I like that straight line approach to the money. I said, I have something. It's only this much. I believe you'll be better off because of it than what you pay me. But if you don't like what you pay before, I'll give you your money back. Simple as that. And strangers are like, that makes sense. I'll try it out. And they did. That was in 2007. I started with a $4 ebook. And by the time I was done, I was a multimillionaire a few short years later, right? Your goal is, if you don't have people that trust you, convert as many strangers into people that trust you. Because I don't look at you as having to target strangers. I look at you as targeting people who are soon to be your customers, not strangers. If you shift yourself into that mentality, you will do much better, my friend. If you don't look at it as these are cold prospects or these are people I have no previous relationship, if you look at a market or an audience and say, these are people that are soon to become my customers. These are an audience that is soon willing to entrust into my hands their problem. These are the people that are okay with giving me money. I'm going to help them get there. Then that will change your game for you if you adapt that. But most of you say it's a stranger, so you show up like you do at a party when you talk to a stranger, all creepy and weird and awkward, right? And then it's no wonder you can't succeed. It has less to do with that Facebook system you bought or that YouTube targeting you're trying. It has most to do with your mental aspect. You freak them out and then they don't pay you money to solve it because they don't believe you can help them solve their problem, right? So I know 95% of you, give or take a couple percent, right now have nobody that trusts you to give you money based on previous experience of giving you money or previous experience of you helping them in advance, or even have the ability to tap into somebody who can transfer that trust to you. Most of you got to deal with strangers. Simple as that. You can deny it. You can pretend it's not true. You will never succeed if you do that. You have to acknowledge it. Okay, I got strangers. It's better than nothing. Let's start there. Okay, so most of you got to go after strangers. So how do you find them? Is this good so far, by the way? I'm feeling a little nervous right now because I don't have slides. And I haven't spent 40 hours obsessing over how do I say this in just the perfect way so it lands and resonates with you the most, so that way you have a new perspective and you can go out there and be more effective and show up more ready and be more likely to succeed. Is this going good so far with you? Because I'm out of my element a little bit, but sometimes you got to get out of your own way to be successful. And are you getting some insights that you think can help you right now in the business? Most people will not tell you what I've told you because that's breaking the fourth wall. They want to keep you on the outside because they think that your ignorance will allow them to sell you more product. And that pisses me off, by the way. No joke about it, right? This is one of the reasons I think Will and I have done so good in this business is we want to take you from our perspective behind the counter and bring you back behind the counter too. And this is how it is, right? So how do you find strangers? One way is to do so organically. And that means that there's a couple ways you can do it, but one of the most common ways is lots of long form content. You publish it in many places, right? So one of the most influential people in the world right now is one of the least likely you would have ever picked, and his name is Joe Rogan. And he has one of the most popular podcasts. He just signed a $100 million deal with Spotify. I think it was about that much. And he gets to call the shots. It is unheard of. And how did he build his following? I mean, the guy was a comedian, and probably not a very good one. He's certainly not on anybody's top 10 list of comedians, right? And the guy was like a TV show host of Fear Factor, which is kind of like C/D level television, right? Better than nothing. And yeah, he was a commentator in UFC. Like, weird, huh? How he's in all these different places. But UFC at the time, especially, that his podcast started, wasn't a very popular sport. It wasn't on anybody's top 3 list overall. It wasn't selling the most merchandises. It wasn't selling the most arenas. It was somewhat niche-y, right? But because he had a long-form content strategy where he put a lot of content out, and he was accessible in many different places, most of them weird, obscure, off the beaten path places, he was able to be the powerhouse that he is today. And there's a lot of examples of that. Gary Vaynerchuk is one of my favorite. He started just shooting ugly videos in his dad's wine store, and now he's one of the most celebrated marketers that exists, right? The problem with this organic approach is that it is very happen chance. It can work, but it's not really formulaic. A lot of it is just like, hopefully if I throw enough stuff at the wall, something will stick. And by the way, let's say you could formalize it. It is highly unlikely that you will see a return on it in a short period of time. Most of these guys struggled for years to break through. And I think for every Joe Rogan or every Gary Vaynerchuk or every amazing success story like that, there's a million people who tried that and gave up just a day too soon or just a week before they would have broke through. So that's one of the ways that you do organic with a lot of content in a lot of different places. Another way you can do organic was with search engine optimization, which is super duper technical. And even then, that doesn't seem to have consistent rules. It's like playing a casino. You do the same action, but you're always getting a different result. I don't like marketing. I'm not a huge fan of marketing. I will use it, by the way, because I'm always just doing multiple things to try to get something out of it. But I'm always nervous about doing something that I could do the same thing and every time get a different result, because I can't systemize it. I can't scale that. I can't remove the risk from that. Okay? Now, the other way that you can get organic is word of mouth. This is going to be more applicable to most of you than anything else I'm going to tell you in terms of getting an audience, getting traffic, right? You can't serve 1 million people until you serve 1,000 people. You can't serve 1,000 people till you serve 10 people. You can't serve 10 people until you serve one person. If you go through this thought exercise right now and you truly live it and step into it, this will make you more money than just about any other type of traffic strategy you'll hear from anybody, free or paid. And it's this. Here's the thought exercise. You ready for it? Do you want it? Will you use it? Damn it. Because I'm tired of sharing you these amazing stuff and then running into you 6 months later and you say, oh, I haven't done that yet, Jason. What the hell are you doing? Are you comfortable being uncomfortable? What's the deal here, right? But here's the thought strategy. Imagine you could only sell 1,000 people a year. The marketing council pulled your name out of a hat and they decreed it so. You are only allowed to have 1,000 customers this year. Or to put it another way, less than 3 a day. Because 365 times 3 is more than 1,000, right? Let's assume that that's true for you and you are no longer allowed to service, to help, to sell more than 1,000 people a year. If that were the case, what would your approach be? If you actually sat down and wrote out that approach, I guarantee you, you'll be 1,000 times more likely to be successful than any other approach you're taking right now. Because that really clarifies the name of the game. Now, I started my business selling a couple hundred customers, and I was only focused on if I get one, I was happy, right? It's not sexy. That's what's wrong with it. But to me, I say, you know what's not sexy? Dying with regret of what could have been. Now, all of a sudden, that constrained thinking of serving small, that is sexy to me. And hopefully it's sexier to you. I'm going to get to 1 million people, but I'm going to do it one at a time. And if I focus on 1,000 or less per year, easiest way I know to make you a millionaire, not to focus on more, but to focus on less. And here's why that is the case. Because if you focus on 10 or 20 or 30 people, your word of mouth organic spread to more of the same is undeniable. It's almost impossible to stop even if you tried to. And in 6 months, 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16, 16 to 32 to 64 to 128 to 256 to 512. How do I know these numbers at the top of my head? Because I made sure I memorized them. Because of the power of compounding. That's how I imprinted its importance in my body. You take a penny, and on July 1st, I give you a penny, and I say, every day, this will double until it gets to $1 million. How long do you have to wait before that penny becomes over $1 million? Answer, 28 days. If I gave you that penny on July 1st, double it every day by July 28th, you would be over $1 million. You get the fortune through the micro. Start small. Some of you will never be able to get over that, and it will break my heart. Because you want that rock star lifestyle. You want 1 million fans on Instagram, right? You want to be worshipped at conferences where you can't take a pee without 15 people wanting to follow you into the restroom, right? You want that sort of fame. You will get that at the cost of financial freedom, if at all. You might not even get there. But if you want to get rich, the answer is in serving less than 1,000 people a year, because you will be able to call them out, speak their language, understand them, and create the solutions for them that are undeniable, that nobody else could beat you on. I can't beat you on them. Nobody can, right? This is called rowboats and battleships. Everybody wants to be a battleship. I want you to be a rowboat because a rowboat is first to market. A rowboat is light, and a rowboat can turn on a dime, right? A rowboat can go to the places that nobody else goes to. And in business, that's who makes all the money, okay? So organically, that's your approach. Start very small, so when you're yelling out their name, nobody else is yelling out their name, only you. If you can get around that, get cool with that, you will get rich. Now, another model to get traffic is pay out of profits, which is my favorite way. And it works for me. It might not work for you. It doesn't work for everybody, but I work deals with affiliates. I say, listen, I'm really good at selling stuff and coming up with really awesome solutions. So you give me your people, I will try to sell them, and whoever I sell will split the money. Or you do a revenue share. You say, listen, you got an audience. I want to help them out in this capacity. I will give you 90% of the profits. I will only take a dime out of every dollar I generate for you because you have the audience and I just want to serve. Will you take a chance on me? And that's really powerful. Now, some of you can't make that kind of deal. You're a little too uncomfortable. You're not ready for that yet. That's okay. I'm just giving you an example of a way that you can get an audience, or the most common way. The way I'm going to suggest most of you start is paying for it. Paid advertising. And I kind of get nervous saying this out loud because I know I've seen most of your guys' attempts at paying for advertising, and you literally worked hard to give your money away. You would have been, from a financial standpoint, you could have saved the time, sat on the couch, and been richer than actively trying something and losing money in the process. Because the game is hard, dude. The game is really hard. Facebook and Google are the duopoly of advertising online. Amazon is in a distant third. Nobody else matters, right? But if you want to talk about buying traffic online and advertising, it's a two-horse race. It's Facebook and Google. Which platform are you going to start with? Good question, right? Let me tell you in general what makes advertising successful. Now, most of you don't know these rules, which is why you pay the cost. And most companies like Google and Facebook don't want you to know these rules. They want to keep you in the dark spending money and then making you think somehow or another, if you just try harder, you'll get richer or it'll work one day, right? But here's what makes advertising work, or if you don't do this, here's what costs you in advertising. The more specific data insights you have, the better you can perform. So a lot of people teaching you advertising, they have all sorts of Google Analytics. They're like, yeah, most of my people are 46-year-old women from Delaware who connect via a Nexus Google Wi-Fi connection. I mean, anybody can make money with that sort of granularity of data, right? Now, Google Analytics is great. And if you have that, fantastic. Mine that for gold. Find your 1,000 in that analytics that you're going to go after. And now you know you can immediately reach them in Google. You say, Google, I want these types of people. You're already giving me some of them. Give me more of the same. Okay? Google's analytics are not as good as Facebook's. Facebook's data, from a targeting perspective, runs circles around Google. For better or worse. It is scary how Facebook understands you at a behavioral level. Google understands you at a demographic level. Facebook understands you at a psychographic level. And it's psycho, how psychographically they understand you. Sometimes they probably know your thoughts before you know your thoughts, right? So I'm suggesting that you go with Facebook first if you're going to pay for traffic, because they have more specific insights into your true 1,000 than any other paid platform ever could. The second aspect of advertising is this, and this is a truism. It's always true. I've never seen an instance where it's not true. Sometimes it's more true than other times, but it's always true. The more you can keep your ads native, the better shot you'll have. What do I mean by native? Okay? I want you to imagine that you're in a nightclub and you want to advertise your restaurant. So you say, hey, everybody, go across the street and eat at my restaurant, right? How soon do you get thrown out of that nightclub? Or how willing is that nightclub owner willing to support you? They're not, because you're taking people out of their establishment and you're trying to bring them into theirs, okay? So Google is very, very paranoid about that type of advertising, and so they make it super hard. Now, they like dumb institutional advertising, where it's like, hey, Remember us. Don't forget about Coca-Cola. Don't forget about Tide, right? Because that doesn't take them anywhere, not really. And these guys have big budgets. So that's who Google typically caters to. Facebook wins because they cater more to the people that Google churns away. And Facebook loves to reward those of you the most who keep them inside Facebook, which has put me at a great disadvantage because I don't want to be inside Facebook myself, nor do I want anybody else to be, right? But that's my own. I get to make that decision because I have a couple $1 million in the bank, right? So Facebook, because it has a medium that is social and a platform, allows you, if you wish to, a lot of people don't do it this way, which is one of the reasons I believe I have the breakthrough for you. I have the game changer for you. Because there is a way to keep it completely native from start to finish inside of Facebook. And this all of a sudden turns people who could never advertise to save their life into some of the best paid advertisers you'll ever meet. And then people will want them to get on stage and speak. And then when you open your mouth to speak about your secret, people will be like, that's it, that sucks. And then they'll ignore you and move on because it can't be that easy, right? They're wrong, you're rich. The easier though, here's the real plan, right? I want you to think of paid ads as starting a fire. Maybe you got to rub 2 sticks together. Maybe you got a Zippo. I don't know. You start your fire. But what I really want you to do is pour on the gasoline of word of mouth. So you use a little paid advertising to jumpstart and pour on the gasoline of organic, free word of mouth. The best advertising in the world is also the cheapest. It's free. It's called word of mouth advertising. Grassroots movement, right? So the easier you can turn paid ads into word of mouth, the better you will be. And this is where, if you use it in the specific way I want to show you, this is where Facebook shines. Doing Facebook advertising the normal way will leave you broken. It just will, right? Because here's what it takes to make this work if you don't do it in the way that I'm going to show you. You'll need what we call a wide and deep funnel. So you need a front-end offer with like a checkbox upsell, with a one-time offer, with a second one-time offer, with a third one-time offer, and some downsells. If they say no to the first one, well, how about this? If they say no to the second one, well, how about this? And then when you get into the whatever you bought into that members area, or you get it in the mail or whatever, they need what's called a bounce back offer. They need you to bounce back over and spend more money with them. And then you break even. And not a lot of marketers like doing that, right? Upsell hell is what I call it, but they have to, otherwise the economics doesn't work. So that requires you to have a lot of products, not just one, and really a very powerful, irresistible offer. 2, it can't just be a good offer. It's got to be irresistible. And then you got to have all the technical aspects. Do we got to integrate Facebook Messenger over here? And do we got to do retargeting over there? And how do we make sure that the people who buy this see this, but the people who don't buy this see that? Blah, right? And you need Facebook to learn who best responds to you. But Facebook requires you to pay them and wait while they learn. So you will pay more up front to be able to pay less in the future. And for most of you, you don't got the budget to wait that long. You'll run out of money before Facebook understands who to serve your ads to. So if you want to make advertising effective, you got to keep it native, but you also got to make your offers irresistible. 2 main ways to make an offer irresistible. The first way is to do it like I do it. Massive expertise, with massive salesmanship, with massive bonus packages to stack the value into overdrive. And I'm really good at this, and I'm a content creation machine. I can spin this stuff up very quickly, and a lot of people like it. I have that unique experience and insight and understanding, and I enjoy it. And that's the most common way. The most common way is never the best way. I don't know if you've ever noticed that in life. The most common way to live life leaves most people broke, literally less money when they die than $0. That's the way most people live life. The best thing you can do for the poor is not be one of them, right? So we can't do things the normal way, okay? The second way, the better way, the way I think is the most misunderstood, most overlooked, easiest for you to tap into, and right now all the stars have aligned to make it the easiest way to tap into it, is what I call experiential irresistible offers. The offer is irresistible because of the experience, not because of the product or even the solution, right? Experiential products are easier to pull off in the real world, but they don't happen that often. And so it is a mystery to most people. They just don't know they can do it. It's never a decision that they can make. And so therefore they don't make it. And that's what prevents them from making their fortune. They don't tap into experiential opportunity. So let me talk about experiential real quickly here. Apple is the richest company in the world, and they get this better than anybody. So before Apple, there were personal computers. Apple didn't invent a computer, right? But before Apple, and even when Steve Wozniak wanted to sell Apple originally, he wanted to sell schematics on how you could build your own motherboards. That's a geeky, niche-y, very, very specific type of market. And then Jobs made it cool. He turned a computer into a designer item that you would wear like a Louis Vuitton handbag in public. Beforehand, computers came in one color, ugly, industrial, gray, or industrial whatever. They were all ugly and industrial. And Apple turned them into designer items and became the richest company in the world. Tesla is the most valuable automotive company in the world, I think, or if not one of the most valuable. And what they did is they didn't invent the electric car. That's the product. But they churned the product from appealing to tree-hugging, eco-friendly, granola crunchy individuals, right, of which I kind of am, so it's not a slight, it's just as a market, right? And they turned it into a slick piece of tech, like an iPad on wheels. And oh, by the way, it just so happened to be electric. But it goes from 0 to 60 faster than any car besides one that is street legal in less than $1 million, right? Tesla made it cool to drive electric. That's an experience. It's inconsequential what the product is. If you think of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, you remember that? Typical fundraising is not fun. It is, it's gross. People don't like asking for the money. People don't like to be asked for the money. They're guilted into giving the money, and that's how the whole fundraising industry works. But ALS did the Ice Bucket Challenge, which was fun, and it was social. What the hell does an ice bucket really have to do with raising awareness for a disease? Nothing, not really. It doesn't have to be related. It's just a fun experience. Changes the interaction with the audience, changes everything. And I would argue it's easier to get somebody to dump ice on their head than it is to create a breakthrough, one-of-a-kind coaching program or some amazing physical product or some software or some service or some coaching product. You feeling what I'm saying right now? Right? Here's why experiential solutions are the solutions that you should be playing with in the here and now in 2020. The sooner you can step into these, the better off you'll be. Experiential solutions win because more often than not, if you do it right, you let your audience create the solution. So you have an idea, Ice Bucket Challenge, but you have no idea how the audience will actually create the product, but you let them create it. Now you got everybody creating it for you. It's easier and it's more relevant and it's more exciting. You just get behind it and you cheer it on. That's the solutions I want you to sell. You want to create something that other people get excited about and then you just cheer them on. You will make more money that way. It'll be easier and I would argue you'll have more impact, right? It's also easier and more natural for these people to share these experiential solutions like challenges organically, word of mouth, naturally. It can be built into it. And it often creates a better solution. Because if you can enlist your audience to be part of the outcome, they will own that outcome. And if they own that outcome, they're more likely to do whatever it is that they need to do, period. And it is the most attractive thing that you can offer on a social media platform. See, most people are selling courses on Facebook, which is kind of counterproductive because people don't want to go to Facebook. If they want to learn, they'll go to a library, right? They want to be on Facebook for the experience, the socialization. And Facebook does their best to keep them on there with thumbs up and likes and photo and everything that these data scientists do all day long, sit around in rooms and say, how do we make our platform addictive? They design it to be addictive. So they've already figured all that out. You can just tap into an experience that keeps people on the platform, but instead of getting them addicted, you can actually enlist them to create the solution for you. You get rich and create a better experience for everybody involved. The trick to experiential solutions is they must be done just right. Kind of like Goldilocks, not too hot, not too cold, just right. Not too big, not too small, just right. So you need the right format, you need the right length, you need the right sentence, and you need to do it with the right timing, okay? Important for you to understand the following. Tesla didn't invent the electric car. Apple didn't invent the personal computer. These things existed beforehand. But Tesla rolled out the electric car when the time was right, and they did it in the right way. And so did Apple. Think about it like this. If a better computer came out today, or a better car came out, or a better search engine came out today, how much would that matter? It's better to be first than it is to be better. That is the greatest marketing axiom of all time, in my opinion. I've made millions of dollars understanding that it's better to be first than it is to be better. Apple's the richest company in the world. There are computers out there that are significantly better than Apple. It doesn't matter. Apple's first. Tesla is the richest company in the world, which makes no sense in automotive. It makes no sense how they were able to disrupt that market. But it doesn't matter if there's better electric cars that come out to these days, because Tesla is something people relate to more than just a car. They're enthusiasts of it. If a new search engine came out that's better than Google, nobody would care because they're already used to what they're used to and excited about and will share what they're used to. So it's better to be first than it is to be better. Speed of market, first mover advantage, early adopters, call it what you want, but that's who wins the most. So I believe you can be first. I believe you have a front row seat to do what I'm about to show you in the best way, in the easiest way, in the most effective way. And you can do this 5 years from now and it will still work. It'll just work better today. Because Warren Buffett still makes money in the stock market. Although lately his track record's a little iffy, but so is everybody's because it's doing a kangaroo. It's not a bull market. It's not a bear market. It's a kangaroo market, right? But the people that see these massive returns on Apple are friends and family, not technical stock investors, not gurus and hedge fund managers, right? The people that are in the front row who were tipped off on it. And what I absolutely know is the best thing for you to be on the ground for right now when it comes to making money online is challenges. But not just any challenges. Challenges done in the right way, in the specific way that I'm about to show you, right? Here's what I know to be true, because I try to understand the market and see the patterns and then serve you by giving you the insight so you can just stand on my shoulders for the view, right? We are drowning in information right now. YouTube is the greatest source of free information I've ever seen in my life. Podcasting, oh my God, experts who you would have to pay so much money to are now freely giving away this knowledge for a download on your phone that you can listen to when you're walking your dog, right? Audiobooks are just taking off. When I remember 10, 20 years ago, people thought you were weird if you listened to books on tape, right? We are drowning in information. People don't need more information these days. They need experience. That makes it irresistible. There's a lot of places and platforms that you can do challenges on. I'm telling you, until you make $100,000, do all your challenges on Facebook. It will make it so much easier for you to get traffic, whether free traffic, paid traffic, or a combination of it. It can spread like wildfire, very simple. It's social in nature, and it's free. It's a third-party platform that is 100% free to set up, and I have all the resources to make it even quicker and easier for you to set up than you could ever think of. And also, here's why I think, especially if you're a beginner or especially if you're a person who's been trying for years but hasn't made any money yet, right? Especially if maybe you were successful in other areas but online is a new thing to you. Here's why I think you'll be successful with challenges in a way you couldn't be successful anywhere else. Challenges are fluid. What I mean is there's so many ways to adapt them to you personally, no matter who you are or where you are or who you want to serve. Whereas all these other business models I'm seeing online, they're very static. They will work for a certain personality type, of which there are 32 known personality types. So most of them, at best, you got a 1 in 32 shot of being successful at the gate because they're only made for a certain type of person in a certain situation where challenges are fluid. You show me a situation, I'll show you a challenge that would crush it for you better than anything else you could be doing right now. And as a result, as a byproduct, challenges automatically create the right products for you. As a result, as natural as breathing, if you do it in the way that I'll show you. And here's the best part of all for most of you. Right now, I don't know if you're aware of this. I know you're aware of this actually, right? I just say that for effect. The pressure to make money right now is churned up. The heat is on. What before would be nice to have some extra money is now almost essential if you want to survive. And who knows what the hell's going to come out of where we're at right now? Are we on a second wave, third wave? Are we going to experience 4 or 5 waves of this coronavirus stuff before we either, get herd immunity or they figure out a vaccine or whatever the hell may be? I don't know. That is a cycle I couldn't tell you. And anybody who thinks they can predict that cycle is either an oracle from God or insane, right? And I don't know what the long-term ramifications are of 40 million people who want unemployed. Yes, they're coming back right now, but it's weird. It's a weird time. Which, by the way, people need an experience to get them out of that funk. So the demand for that is high. But the second thing is your motivation to serve and make money. It couldn't come at a better time because challenges are the quickest way I know to take you from scratch with the least amount of time and the least amount of capital up front and roll it out and see money in your bank account in record time. I don't know any other model that can do it as quickly. You literally could take what I'm going to show you and in less than a week be profiting from challenges from scratch with no pre-built existing advantage other than your investment in the offer that we have today. And you could do so much with so little. Most of you, I'm going to make a suggestion to you. You'll make the most money, short-term and long-term, is if you run challenges with less than 100 people. So I've built that in, okay? And here's why this new revolution is going to change the game and why I want you to have a front row seat. I've gotten you in on day one of the stock offering if this was Apple, right? Because all innovation occurs from the outside, not the inside. Steve Jobs never wrote a line of code in his life, okay? An existing automobile company didn't bring the electric car to the masses. GM and Ford and Chrysler and Chevy, they didn't do it. Somebody who had no experience in that field did it, right? And the challenge format that I'm going to absolutely urge you to sign up for and underwrite with a 4X quad return of profit, the quad profit guarantee, came about the same way, okay? It didn't come from a guru inside the market. It didn't come from me. It didn't come from an internet marketer or an internet marketing company or digital marketing savvy whatever, right? It came from a guy named Pedro Adeo, the least likely place, okay? A non-guru, did it from scratch in less than 18 months, built a multi-million, $3 million business actually, from scratch in a brand new niche with no following. And what I love to say is with no distraction. This is why disruption comes from the outside. Every single part I've been a part of and the 4 revolutionary cycles that I've been in this business have all came from the outside, never from the inside. And here's why. Here's why I think Pedro's approach is the best thing for you right now. He had no distractions. When he started running challenges 18 months ago, he's ran them for 18 months straight without any time off. One after the other, zero downtime between one challenge and the next, sometimes running more than one challenge simultaneously, concurrently. It's all he had. And that's where the breakthrough came through. That's why he was able to finally demystify this model, just like Musk was able to bring in the Tesla and revolutionize the electric car model, just like Jobs was able to revolutionize the personal computer and the smartphone. As a result of the same style of thinking, being an outside perspective, bringing it in. This is where all disruption and change occurs. This is where all gold rushes happen. And the best thing about it is if you're on the first floor, if you're on the wave initially, you will make money. And I'm confident as long as you follow through, you'll be successful. Not because you're special, not because you have some sort of expertise or insight or ability or skill set, but just simply because you were there. And that's why I can underwrite and make such a guarantee. Because I know Pedro's opportunity is the best thing for you to succeed in right now. You could be an early adopter on it, like buying Apple stock on day one of it going public. So when you have such a unique opportunity like this, when this happens, people like Will and I in Rapid Crush, we're the only ones that do this, by the way. It blows my mind. Other people don't understand this, but they're lost your game. When we see opportunities like this, we go all in on them to help you. Because Will and I are smart. We know that the more successful people we make, the more we're successful. Simple as that. The more money I make you, the more money you have to spend with me. Now, maybe I score points in the afterlife too, and it does make me sleep better at night, right? But on a pragmatic level, I want you to be more successful, and that's how I design my success, to attach it to the more success stories I create. And so when we see unique, revolutionary opportunities like this, which is 5 to 7 years, usually closer to 7, less closer to 5, here's how Will and I help you get the best advantage as an early adopter. The first thing we do is we educate you in advance. And hopefully I've done that here today, right? Second thing is we make an offer of a free bonus package so over the top that people who already own the product will buy it again at the same price just to get the bonuses. We essentially make the bonuses as valuable, if not more valuable, than the very thing that we're telling you to invest in that we know is at the forefront, is the game changer, right? And the rarest thing we ever do in marketing, the least likely thing you see Will and I ever do, is offer an over-the-top, incredibly jaw-dropping, amazing, this can't be true, it's that good, guarantee of profits. And that's what we have here for you today. So before I dive in any further, here's what I'm now ready to do. I'm ready to fire up a slide deck, because this is the thing that I know is going to help you more than anything if you're in a position to take advantage of this. And I know not everybody's in a position to take advantage of this. And I know some people believe they're not, and no amount of sense that I could talk to them will convince them otherwise. And it breaks my heart, and I wish I could help all of you. But I know for some of you who are in a position and you get this, this is what's going to happen for you. You're going to invest in the Crush It with Challenges program by Pedro. It came out fresh last month. I would have promoted it to you right away if I could have, but I wanted to prepare an insane bonus package and get just the right guarantee to guarantee your profits for you. So now here it is. Now here's the catch though. The catch is this. It goes away tomorrow night. I wish I could give you more time to think about it, to analyze it, to understand it, to decide if it's for you or not. But it is what it is. We got this amount of finite time, so let's make the best of it. When you sign up for the Crush It with Challenges program, and it's way more than a program, you're going to see that here in a second. The most important thing I want you to understand is Wilson and I have created this thing called the Quad Win Profit Guarantee. I want you to write that down. Quad Win. Quad Win. The 4X winning guarantee. So not only are you assured to recover every penny of your investment in the Crush It with Challenges program, but you're also guaranteed to receive a 4X profit on your investment. If you're willing to learn and do the work, which is not that much, you simply cannot lose. The only way you can lose is staying where you're at, right? Now, there are conditions to this guarantee. And by the way, the course itself is regularly guaranteed. But Will and I do something no other affiliate does. This transcends marketing, by the way. This isn't marketing. This is me caring and helping you as best as I can. Will and I are making our own guarantee that we personally are funding out of our own pocket on top of somebody else's guarantee for somebody else's product. Because Will and I didn't invent this. We recognize when revolution is happening and we get behind it and we help as many customers get behind it as possible. So here are the conditions of our guarantee. Because you've got to do your end of the deal. I know if I just get you an emotion, you're going to hit a gold mine. But I can't help you if you're willing not to step into motion. So here's how this works. You're going to follow the Crush It with Challenges system and run your first challenge within 30 days of your purchase. Now, we've done this guarantee in 2000, like when we saw the last revolution in the Amazon business, and we couldn't say within 30 days and customers wouldn't feel comfortable because getting a physical product up and running and a business going on Amazon in 30 days was way too much for most people. It was cool to have that guarantee. People qualified for it. Other people went for it and made millions of dollars instead, which was better than a 4X guarantee, right? But a challenge you literally can spin up, get rocking and rolling, and be completely done in 30 days or less. And in fact, I hope you do it quick, because then you won't complicate it. You'll make it simple, and simple is going to make you money. Or put another way, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So I want you to take a slow challenge, which is a very minimalistic challenge, do it smoothly, and you will get fast profits as a result. All right. So you follow the system, you run your challenge, your first challenge in 30 days. And now I have a bonus. We'll talk more about it here in a second, of me consulting with you. And I want to consult with every single person who purchases this. I hate free consulting. I hate it because it is the most use of my time for the least value that I personally get. But I do this in the rare instances when I know for a fact I'm investing in something that is going to pay off massively for you and turn you into one of my best customers and make you millions of dollars. So you run your first challenge, whatever it does, however big or small it may be, right? You do a consult with me as a free bonus. And then I will find whatever you did and level it up times 3, times 5, times 10, times 20 if you listen to me. I'll give you the insight. So then run your second challenge 30 days later, okay? If at the end of your second challenge, you have not yet recovered your full investment to the program and 4 times the profit on that investment, then I'm going to work very closely with you on your next challenge, your third challenge. You'd say, damn, Jason, 3 challenges, that's a lot, right? Well, wait till you see what these challenges look like. They're easier to do than anything you've ever done. If you've gotten product overseas from China to the US, that is more complicated to this. If you've ever put together a free report to distribute on the internet, guaranteed that's more complicated than this, right? If you've ever created like video training programs and set them up and created a YouTube channel or a Facebook advertising campaign, all of that is more complicated than this. But yeah, if you run your first challenge and you make a whole bunch of money, then you can do the second challenge whenever you want. And you can still use my free consultation as a bonus, right? But if you want to do the second challenge, because money loves speed and money loves momentum, you do the second challenge. And then if you haven't 4x'd your money on top of what you invested in the course, then we get online and we look at what the third challenge is. Now, this is how stupid crazy that this is, okay? Because listen, somebody on this call is going to end up being the unluckiest SOB you've ever been in your life, right? They're the kind of person who gets struck by lightning not once, but twice. And that's who I'm creating this guarantee for, to remove even that person's excuse for not signing up for this program. Because if by some small miracle, which is harder to happen than making $1 million, after your third challenge, with my help every step of the way and my bonus package and this one-of-a-kind program and being an early adopter and a first-mover advantage, if you still haven't 4x'd your investment on top of recouping your money initially, then I'm just going to run your next challenge for you and personally pitch your product for you any way you want me to that we agree upon, right? Give you all the profits. Or if I think that that's a lost cause, I'm just going to cut you a check for $10,000. Not a check. I'll transfer you the money. You want a wire transfer? We'll wire transfer it to you. You want me to cut you a check? I'll cut you a damn check. You want me to PayPal it to you? I'll PayPal it to you. I don't know. Actually, I take that back. I will do whatever Will tells me I need to do to get you the money. But you'll get the money, right? And then you could still use the course. You could still use our resources. So if it takes you 6 months before you crack 10 grand, great. You made 10 grand for me and you still got 10 grand for yourself. I want you to make money as quickly as possible. I don't want you to do the thing that you normally do and say, well, what about this, Jason? Or I'm not sure how to do that, Jason. Or I'm scared, Jason. Or finances are tight, Jason. Because yes, finances are probably tight. I'll tell you, finances aren't tight. You're probably not on webinars like these, listening to men like me talk on a webcam in a shirt that has my 14-year-old daughter's hair dye on it because she washed her towel in the same thing that one of my favorite shirts is in, right? You won't get this. You wouldn't be on a webinar like this with some stupid, crazy guarantee that's just ridiculous over the top. But as you can see, if you follow this program, there's no way to lose. And that's what I want to do for you. I don't know how big you will win, but I want to remove any possibility for you not to make money. Last time we did this was many years ago for a product. The revolution has come again, my friend. Do you want to be part of it? So here's what you get with the Crush It with Challenges program. And this is really hard for me to describe because it's so valuable and there's so much of it. But first of all, Pedro has documented the last 18 months of his life, and he's done challenges in every single way possible. He's done free challenges. He's done paid challenges. He's done challenges that were 100% paid advertising challenges and challenges that were 100% organic growth and a blend of them. He's done partner challenges. He's done guest challenges. He's done every kind of conceivable challenge for as little as 3 days to as many as 30 days, selling all kinds of different stuff along the way. You get his step-by-step process on exactly how to do it. First do this, next do this, next do this. It is an unbelievably well put together course. Second thing, Pedro is running a challenge right now to his group of customers who invest in the Crush It with Challenges program. And it's a 30-day challenge just to guarantee that you discover exactly who your who should be, finding the message that will resonate with that audience, and exactly what the structure and makeup of your challenge will be. It's a couple days in already, just to warn you, because I didn't promote it when everybody else opened up and promoted this launch initially, because I wanted to make sure I understood it, make sure that it passed all my high criteria of, is this legit and is this amazing, one of a kind? And then if it was, I had to create resources for you, which I did, and a guarantee for you, which I did. And by the way, those guarantees take hours, if not days, to come up with, right? And we had to cram this in very recently to come up with it because we wanted to make sure you got this, right? So you get that as well. He's also doing, and this is on June 18th, and today is, let me look at today, the 15th, right? So you got to sign up. One of the reasons why I had to close the cart tomorrow night, June 16th, or why Pedro's closing his cart and I can't promote it beyond that, is because he goes live. He's flying down to Charlotte tomorrow. He's in the coolest virtual studio on Zoom I've ever seen in my life. He paid a stupid amount of money to make that happen. And for 3 days, he is doing a live virtual workshop to get you up and running with challenges. So you have a challenge. You can go through that. You also have this 3-day live challenge intensive. You can go through that as well. You have the course, which is unbelievable. Now there is a payment plan option. So for those of you who you have to start with the smallest investment and then spread it out over time, great. You will miss this bonus, but it's still important that you get it. If you're in a position where like, I know this is for me, I want to go in, I want to have Jason's guarantee back at me and go crazy, you might want to take the one-time investment. And if so, you get this software, which will help you leverage your challenges even further. Affiliate challenges is a great model. Wilson and I, that's how we've made most of our money doing challenges, because we did our first challenge in 2010. I wish I would have known half of what I learned from Pedro back then, because I'd be 4 times as rich as I am today. But affiliate challenges are a super powerful way for you to make money as quickly as possible, even if you don't have a product. And that model's specifically broken down. In addition to the multiple ways in which he will help you find your audience, attract your audience, drive traffic from your audience to your challenge, you get yet another way to help you find your audience with this worksheet that really makes it simple and step-by-step. It's really powerful. Exactly how are you going to monetize this challenge? There's a really cool, easy way to present offers and monetization in a challenge. And by the way, you don't have to monetize a challenge. Sometimes you will make money without making an offer. That sounds crazy, right? That's the power of when you have a revolutionary system. All of the old rules of engagement are off. A new set of rules play. And so this will help break it down for you. And again, he's going to give you multiple modalities, multiple formats, multiple approaches, and multiple insights. So I don't care what excuse you can give me about not knowing how to drive traffic and filling up your challenges. I can point to something and say, there you go. Now you can make excuses or you can make money. And then you have to decide that, right? And because he has now quickly become the greatest challenge insight expert analyst approach, he's created a process that is like a production line. That's what I wrote up there. It's like production line ready, just like they make Teslas now. It's like you put this on, you do this, you put it out. He has made it scalable. He has made it easy to repeat and duplicate, all right? And so he's attracted some of the most powerful minds who have done challenges, who even though they've made billions in some cases, like Ryan has made over $1 billion and he offered an interview, he wants to know what Pedro is doing, right? So you get lifetime access to the program. You get the cash in on challenge in 30 days with Pedro running it. You get the 3-day live event, which is happening very shortly. You get the software if you take the one-time investment option. You get the affiliate model specifically built of challenges, which is coming here in the future in a relatively short period of time. You get the ultimate niche finder worksheet. You get the ultimate offer design worksheet to fill up your challenges with ease training and the $1 billion challenge interview. This is legitimately easily. And by the way, there's other stuff that Pedro has in here. I couldn't fit it all on one slide. So there's some happy little extra bonuses I didn't even talk about within the Crush It with Challenges course itself. And by the way, nobody's offered a bonus for this yet. I'm the first to do it because I didn't want to rush in there and just sell you a course and make an affiliate commission, right? I wanted to give you an overwhelming advantage and embarrass anybody else who ever will promote this or ever has promoted this. That's how we help our customers. That's the level of intention that I have to service you. So you see the value there, right? What's your investment? Now remember, there's that guarantee, right? What's your investment to get started? You can take care of it all at once for $19.95, or you can spread it out over 6 installments, $395 today, and then more of the same for 5 more months. Quadwin.com, right? Now, for some of you, this is not that much money. Great, sign up then. Because it will be more costly for you to not sign up than to sign up. For some of you, this might stretch you as thin as it can possibly stretch you. And I get that, right? And again, I can point to a lot of people I know, myself included, who made those tough investments when the times were tight and succeeded. I can also tell you a lot of people get offended when I suggest that if you're down to your last dollar, it's probably better to invest it in something that can help you than to hold on to it with tight clenched fists. So I run the risk of offending anybody when I say, listen, I don't know your money situation. $395 might be a lot for you. But sometimes the opportunity doesn't show up when everything's easy. Oftentimes the opportunity shows up in the darkest hour. And it is the light to get out of the dark. But regardless, I want to help you understand if this makes sense to you, because from what I see, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. I think this makes sense. But I'm willing to hang in there with you to see if I can help assist you so that it makes sense. Go to quadwin.com, though, and get started and sign up right now. When you sign up, you're going to get these exclusive Rapid Crush bonuses from us for free. Bonus number 1, I'm going to give you my Genius Webinars program. It is my life work on webinars. People say I'm the greatest in the world, including Inc. magazine. So who am I to disagree, right? I did this training originally and people paid $4,995 to be part of it live. We recorded it in full high definition and now we sell it every day for $2,000 to the general public. And a couple of you I know are going to be pissed because you're like, I paid Jason that money. And normally I don't like doing this and making this type of bonus, but I specifically wanted to give you this, to show you how serious I am when I tell you this is the game changer, but also there is so much insight in here on how to structure the challenge independent of whether you're selling something or not or doing webinars or not. And how do I know that? Because here's how I met Pedro. Pedro bought my course. And he said it's the greatest course he ever bought on marketing, Genius Webinars. And if that was influential for him to go from 0 to $3 million in 18 months or less from a complete scratch outsider with no playbook or no resource or no process, making it up as he went along, right? If it's good enough for him, damn it, it's good enough for you. And I've made many people like John Carter and Ben Cummings millions of dollars, and a long list of clients have paid us $30,000 upfront just for the knowledge that you get in this bonus for free. And I have done webinars for Tony Robbins and Larry King and for multi-billion-dollar companies like Zoom. So your first bonus when you go to quadwin.com and get going is Genius Webinars. You get that for free. Bonus number 2, you don't have to use a website to invite. You literally can make it a Facebook post. And that can work, right? But if you want to get more out of it, you should create an invitation site that people can go to and sign up and register with as well. Now, if you do that, you can do that on your own and it could be complicated. You can spend a lot of money to do it, or you can use our free Done For You Challenge website builder that we've created specifically where I've wrote all the copy for you to fill in the blank very quickly, very easily, and now you have your invitation up. Bonus number 3, I have some psychology that I think once you understand it, when it comes to servicing audiences, making offers, and creating challenges is going to blow your mind. And I first did this because I was in Austin, Texas at the digital marketing headquarters, speaking exclusively to their room of war room members who each paid $30,000 to be there. It's the highest marketing mastermind in the world. And they brought me in to teach. And I was teaching about webinars, but I got off track because people were asking me about some of the ways we positioned offers that were super incredible. And so I went deep into that. And instead of having to pull that one little section out as a recording, I'm just going to give you the full 2 days of this intensive that I was brought in to this audience. It is incredible. It is groundbreaking. It is worth on its own. And I would be happy to charge you more than the whole investment, that you're having to invest to get Crush It with challenges, but you get this for free when you sign up. So Jeanette listened to this, just the recordings of it, and immediately, for the first time ever using this, made $720,000. And that isn't even what she's about. She's not even about the money. It just happened as a byproduct of what I call offer enchantment. So you get that when you go to quadwin.com as well. Bonus number 4, I mentioned earlier, I've been doing challenges for a long time. Some of you remember when I had this 1967 Ford Mustang that was given to me by the person that turned me on to challenges. And she, to this day, I think has secret extra insight that nobody else in the world has about challenges. And I got her to agree to spill the beans totally with you. And I get this because I've made her $1 million. So I've been able to work deals because of the good value that I provided for others in advance. But she was doing challenges. I helped her with her consulting and challenges, and she gave me a 67 Mustang as an appreciation. So you're going to get her insights as well. That's bonus number 4. Bonus number 5, these things are not super important, but they need to be done. One of the reasons why your challenges will do so good is that your results don't come from you. They come from how you interact with the audience. You don't even have to interact with them. How you get the audience to interact with the material. It's a lot of self-discovery and insight because your audience knows the answer more than you know the answer. We tease it out of them. And one of the ways is we have fill-in-the-blank materials. I learned this by reverse engineering everything that Pedro did and then churning it into templates so I can hand them over to you. If you were to build these out on your own manually, it would take you many, 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 many hours. If you were to hire somebody and assume that they actually knew what the hell they were doing, which is a big if, it would cost you more than $2,000 in order to do this. You get these for free when you sign up at quadwin.com. Now, once upon a time, one of my best friends in this business and a mentor and a hero to me, Joe Polish, he created this contest model, which is very similar in a lot of ways to challenges. And Joe, like me, we suffer from the fact is we're 5 or 10 or 20 years ahead of our time. We're too far ahead of the curve. And Joe wrote this out, and he did this essentially this challenge model originally with some carpet cleaners. So you talk about your 1,000 people to serve. He served 1,000 carpet cleaners, had the highest ticketed mastermind for marketing in the world, and it had nothing to do with training or coaching. It had everything to do with creating this challenge framework. And then Joe took that same methodology and consulted with Bill Phillips and created for Bill probably the single greatest, what I would call challenge framework of all time. And it reached millions of people. And this is what these guys had to do back then in order to make what I'm teaching you today, which works better and is easier. They had to spend $1 million to produce a VHS tape. Then they had to physically mail it for free to anybody who wanted it. And Bill Phillips probably saved more people's lives through his transformation program than doctors in the ER save lives. And you get, I asked Joe, I said, can we go deeper into the ins and outs of this, specifically from the lens of the challenges? Because I introduced Joe to Pedro, and now they're like best buddies because they 2 birds of a feather, right? And he said he agreed with me. Okay, so you get that bonus as well. The 7th bonus that you get is I have a formula that I believe is going to make you money if you're absolutely beginner. You just woke up to the marketing world yesterday and you have no clue what you're doing other than the fact that you want to make money online. Okay, you can and you will make a fortune doing tiny little challenges. And here's the insight onto this. As an expert, I suffer from the curse of expertise. I am typically 1,000 steps ahead of the market. So the challenges that face you today are challenges that haven't faced me for 5 or 10 years. On one hand, that helps me because I can have insight that's really powerful and valuable, but on one hand, it hurts me because it's hard for me to relate to your problems if I'm 1,000 steps ahead. But what if you were 1 step ahead of somebody? Or even better, what if you were in step with somebody? And so this is something we said inside of one of our challenges. Somebody says, hey, Jason, I feel really uncomfortable being on video. Do I have to be on video to do a challenge? First of all, no, you do not, right? A challenge is very fluid, right? But second of all, we suggested in the group, this didn't come from me, by the way, although I had already had it in mind with this bonus. Somebody suggested, hey, why don't you do a challenge where you say, I'm going to do videos and I'm going to learn how to do videos. Want to join me? And I'm like, damn, that challenge would crush more than anything. So you can literally take something, this isn't the only way to the top of the mountain. There's about 1,000 different paths, which is why I'm confident that no matter who you are, where you're at, this is going to be the best thing for you. But you could literally say, I want to learn this new skill. I want to try this new thing. Want to join me? And you will probably get more people excited to join you and go along for the ride with you because you're inspirational to them because you're just one step ahead of them. Each day you take one step, then they take a step. You will have more impact than most gurus ever could dream of. It was what they used to do when they started. And now they don't do it anymore because they lost that. That is a challenge model that I'm going to break down for you intimately as a bonus at quadwin.com. Then there's also the exclusive bonus with me. Once you do your first challenge, I don't care what you do on that challenge. I can turn losers into winners just like that. I don't expect you to lose, but I prepare anyway. I expect you to get the best, but I prepare for the worst, right? But if you hit a gold mine, I'll show you how to get more gold out of that mine quicker than you thought possible. I can't teach this stuff. I'm like Rain Man. You drop all the toothpicks on the floor, I'll look at them and tell you there's 479 of them, right? You want my Rain Man abilities on your challenge with my eyes, and I'm going to offer this to you. So after you do your first challenge, you and I are going to get on a 30-minute Zoom, and we're going to figure that out, how to electrify that. And that's an exclusive bonus for you. All of our bonuses, they're actually worth a lot more than that. The guarantee is the real value. That's $10,000 real world dollars at the very least. But if that inspires you to make $100,000 when before you wouldn't have taken it because you were too scared, right? That's the real value of that bonus of the guarantee is $100,000 plus dollars. You can get signed up at quadwin.com. Go there right now. Which one should you sign up for? Whichever one that you want to. Doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is you get in. And then we go together. All right? Quadwin.com. Now, Will, I am certain, of course, that we have lots of questions. And I would love to assist in those. And one thing I want to do here is if you see this on the screen, right? Open up your favorite browser, type in quadwin.com, and it's going to take you to a page like this. The very first thing you're going to see is the guarantee. Why? Because I think it's the most important thing. So that's what you're going to see first, right? This is the slim version of the guarantee. Because if you're like, this makes sense, Jason, or I just need to check something real fast and make sure I understand it, there you go. Then you can sign up. Yes, I'm in. Note the countdown timer. This isn't fake scarcity. This isn't where it changes and saying, just kidding, you got 2 more days. No, this is done tomorrow night. 1 day, 9 hours, 6 minutes from this training right now. All the details of exactly what you get are here. Even though Pedro's barely released this program and barely anybody has seen it, he has insane results and insane testimonials in success stories. And by the way, I expect you next time, I want to replace everybody with my people who took the challenges with us and had our resources, which none of these bonuses, nobody had these, and they were still super duper successful. So those are all the information for all the bonuses here. Now, here's what's really important for you, okay? Not only are you protected by Pedro's guarantee, but here's the Quadwin guarantee right down here with even more specifics on the conditions. So you get the full overview of the guarantee. So that's important. You check that out if you need some clarification. And even more, we got the footnotes here. Everything is transparent. Everything is clear. Everything above the board. You can see it right here, right? But regardless, you are going to go to Yes, I'm In. Any one of those buttons will take you to the same place. And then you have the opportunity. You fill in your information. You will not necessarily see everything. You won't see anything on this order form from us because we're the only ones that have that bonuses. But you'll notice there are extra bonuses that I didn't even mention because that's how valuable this is. And then you select, do you want to do this 1 time or do you want to do this 6 times? If you do this 6 times, it will give you a schedule. Awesome. If you do this 1 time, the only main difference is I understand it. Will could correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the only difference is you don't get the Challenge Hub software, which, is it that essential? Is it not? I don't know, right? You do whatever makes sense for you to do. Whichever investment makes sense for you to do, that's the one you're going to do at quadwin.com.
Yeah, Jason, so we're getting in like awesome feedback, but also lots of great questions, and I'd like to start addressing.
Cool. I'm going to run to the restroom real quick. Will, why don't you hit the biggest one first, and I'll come back and tag team it with you, okay?
All right, sounds good. So how will you get access to the bonuses? You'll get access to the bonuses in the Rapid Crush members area. If you go to quadwin.com, when you scroll down to the bonus sections of that page, you will see under each bonus a clear description of when that bonus will be delivered to you, okay? So within 3 days of you signing up to Crush It with Challenges, you'll get an email from Rapid Crush that says, here's your access to the bonus area, and here's your login information. And when you log in there, you will see all the bonuses listed, and they will be delivered at different times. They will be delivered at different times. And all of the details are on the page. The details of the guarantee are on the page as well, as Jason just showed. I wish he'd left that on the screen. That's okay. If you go to quadwin.com, it will redirect you to another website called unite.rapidcrush.com. It's the same thing. It was easier for us to tell you to type in quadwin.com. That's the only difference there. This webinar is recorded, and we will try and get the recording out as quickly as possible. It will probably take us 3, 4, 5 hours to get the recording out. As soon as we do get the recording, we will send out emails, but you don't have a whole lot of time to watch. This offer goes away tomorrow. That is Tuesday, June 16th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific. That is 11:59 p.m. Los Angeles time, because I don't know where in the world you are, but it is Los Angeles time at 11:59 p.m. Pacific. This is the same exact offer that was made for those of you who participated in our Unite Challenge. We have literally just added the guarantee today. Jason alluded that there would be a surprise coming on Monday. That is the surprise. If you have already invested in Crush It with Challenges after the Unite Challenge event that you participated in, or the challenge, right? Then if you invested through the Unite Challenge, you also qualify for this guarantee. You're also able to claim this guarantee exactly as it is stated on the page. Jason, I would like you to go back to the guarantee and leave that up on the screen if you could, please. So you absolutely are going to be able to qualify for this guarantee. Let's see.
You see it right, Will, on the screen now?
Yeah, go to the bigger one if you don't mind.
Sure.
Because I want to make sure that people understand that this is a nice cut and dry, super clear, not gimmicky. There's only one real requirement, is that you're able to follow the program and then follow some instructions from us, right? We're putting upwards of $10,000 on the line here for as many people as sign up. And as such, we need to make sure that you're able to follow some instructions and do the work, because this isn't a situation where you buy today, you invest today, do nothing, and then come say, hey, Jason Will, give me $10,000. That is just not going to happen, right? If this is you, if you're going to buy thinking you're going to get $10,000 for absolutely no work or anything like that, then you're just not correct. So don't take the plunge here. But if you are the type of person who is going to say, okay, I'm going to invest today, I'm going to go watch the videos for Crush It with Challenges so I can learn, and then I'm going to execute on what Pedro tells me to do, and I'm going to go ahead and attempt to run my first challenge exactly in the way that Pedro tells me to do, and you follow the instructions, and then you utilize the Jason Consult bonus, which means you have to run your challenge, give your information on the challenge, show Jason what you did so he can show you how to, improve those results. That is when you're going to start seeing that return on your investment, right? And what we're doing here is we are 100% guaranteeing that you're going to get return on your investment. Not only are you going to recover all the money you paid to Pedro to buy this course, you're going to, on top of that, get a minimum of a 4x investment. So that is an additional, let's say you take the full payment plan, that's basically $2,000. You will get an additional 8 on top of that. And if you don't achieve that on your own after the consult with Jason, Jason is going to then help you run your third challenge, or he's going to guide you on exactly what to do on your third challenge. And if for some crazy, insane, I don't know how this could happen, I guess that's the struck by lightning twice example that Jason gave earlier, right? You still haven't gotten it. And by the way, that means if you've gotten $9,873 and you were like literally $27 shy, I don't care if you're $1 shy or $10,000 shy of meeting your goal, we are going to fulfill that guarantee for you. And Jason is going to either pay you the difference of your return on invest of your money that you invested plus 4x on top of that, or he's going to just run the challenge with you, alongside you. He'll do the presenting, he will do the pitching, and everybody here knows that Jason is a pretty good pitchman. I think he's done it once or twice in his life successfully. So it's just, or he will look at it and say, look, this is, he doesn't like to quit, but he's going to have to present the case to me, and I'm a little bit more level-headed sometimes about it and a little less emotional. And he's going to come to me, he's going to tell me, hey, this is what we're going to do. Do you agree that we should continue? We should buy the rights to this challenge, or should I do this challenge? We're going to discuss it. This is why it's going to take 48 hours for us to get back to you. It says right there that within 48 hours, we're going to get back to you. It says in the footnotes. And we're either going to buy the challenge for you because we know we can make it, crush it ourselves, and you already have developed some stuff, so we're going to buy the copyrights from you, or we'll just, or we'll do it with you. If we buy it from you, we'll just give you the difference in price. It is up to you, though, by the way. We're not going to force you to sell it to us. If you come to us and you're $27 shy, we're not going to say, here's your $27, sell it to us. You can walk away. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
No, we're going to do the right thing by you.
That's by the way, this is how that looks. I say, if we were to do this together, this is the best way to do this. This is the process. That's your option A. Your option B is, I cut you a check. How do you want to proceed, right? Simple as that. You're in the driver's seat here. Now, one of the reasons why Will and I make this guarantee the way that we do is all your situations are going to be different. For some of you, me in a support role will make the most sense. For others of you, me in a lead role will make the most sense. For others still, me being a shadow master, puppet, Wizard of Oz behind the scenes will make the most sense. Other instances and other times, me calling in a favor for somebody to help prop up your challenge will make the most sense. One thing I know for certain, every situation will require a unique ability to unlock the profits. But what I also know for certain, I've seen every situation that any of you could create, and I've already solved it at one point in time in my marketing career, and I'm not confident that I can. And then it's really up to you. Now, by the way, you could still unlock it and use it. So have we done guarantees like this before, Will? Damn right we have. It's super rare, but we have. Now, have we had to honor them sometimes? Yes, we have. I remember this gentleman named Hugh. And Hugh started with us in the Amazon business. And we had a guarantee similar to this, and he didn't get there. And we helped him. And he ended up making so much more money than what the guarantee was that it blew his mind. And he was cool just for the help. He didn't even necessarily need the guarantee. But it was amazing to me how that guy, under normal circumstances without the guarantee, you know what would have happened to Hugh? He would have quit. He would have lost money, gave up, and said, I knew that stuff didn't work, whatever. But he was 1 inch away from gold. And I helped him strike it, right? And I'm willing to do that for you. Now, here's something to think about. Well, does it on the surface make any financial sense for you and I to put this amount of effort and this amount of resources into getting somebody to buy a $2,000 course, actually $19.95, of which at the most we get 50% on? Does that make any sense?
Well, it doesn't make any sense on the surface, but
on the surface,
way below the surface, right?
Yeah. See, this is why it's hard, though, for some people to wrap their heads around it, because on the surface, and even 1 or 2 levels deep, it might not make sense, right? But when you dig down, it makes the most sense in the world. And why? And Will, why is that?
Say that again, Jason. You're breaking up for me.
So when you dig down, below the surface, why does it make the most sense in the world?
Well, there are so many reasons it makes sense, right? Let me address the selfish reason why it makes sense, because we're capitalists and we like to make money. Because we know for a fact that if I get 10 times the number of customers to sign up for Crush It with challenges, eventually we will make 10 times the money or 100 times the money than if I get just, 10% of you to sign up. So the more people that we get to sign up, it's not about the commissions we get today, because we do get a 50% commission from Pedro on the payments you make, right? So, but it's not about that today. It's about the fact that when we make you financially free or financially independent, or when we make you rich, right? You will remember, and the next time we make an offer like this to you, you'll be much more likely to accept it without being as skeptical as you are today, because I know you're skeptical because it sounds so good to be true, right? It sounds too good to be true. Yep. And if you don't know who we are, you've recently been introduced to us, ask the people that introduced you to us, right? If you're in the Unite Challenge and you were brought in by an ambassador, ask your ambassadors who we are. Are we legit? Google us, search us. We've been in business for almost 10 years now, just shy of 10 years. We're on our 10th year right now. We've been around in business for a long time.
And Will and I had businesses before that online, before we connected together.
Yeah, exactly. Before Rapid Crush, we have an outstanding reputation in the marketplace. Yeah. An outstanding reputation for taking care of customers, for customer service, but also for results. And so this is important for you to understand. And don't take my word for it. Go do the research. Just for the love of God, just do the research quickly, so that you don't miss out on this opportunity. This is not something you can unfortunately wait and research next week. And here's the other thing I will do.
I want to say something too towards this guarantee that I think a lot of people, it doesn't come to their mind. But here's the deal. In this internet marketing space, Will and I swim in very shark-infested waters. And we are competing for your attention and for your dollar with a lot of other people. And a lot of other people will create really bright, shiny objects and create lots of distraction, sometimes outright lie or blatantly mislead you for their own personal gain because they're only short-term thinkers. And this is who Will and I are running up against, right? So one of the ways that we break through in a cynical, crowded, very, very tough marketplace that very rarely has any substance is by being incomparable to everybody else. And one of the ways that we do this is dramatically creating a guarantee like you're seeing here. Now, do we always do this? No. We could do this for every offer, but 99 times out of 100, it wouldn't make sense because we wouldn't be that confident that the variety of the most people that we reach could be successful, and it would be more costly for us to make this guarantee than to not make it. This is why we make a guarantee like this on a product like once every 6 or 7 years, maybe 5, maybe, right? And that's because very rarely we have an advantage that we know will compel customer success. And what is that advantage? Being there on the ground floor. And that's what we have happening here. This is the ground floor. This is the movement. This is getting Apple investment on day one. And if I get a commission on the stock that you invest in, right? Damn right, I want as many of you to invest as possible. Do I also want to reward those of you who get in on the ground floor? Because getting in on the ground floor is scary, right? You're like, nobody else has went first. I only want to be an innovator if I can follow other innovators. That's how most people think, right? But innovation doesn't work that way. So I want to remove that uneasiness of I don't have a North Star. I haven't been here before because this is new for everybody, right? And if I can counteract that negative self-talk, self-sabotage that even I go through on a daily basis with things that I'm uncomfortable or unfamiliar with, if we could create something above and beyond that, we will beat a lot of these fraudsters and charlatans and other people that are very slick, but at the end of the day, no substance. They have the greatest gift wrap. But when you open the package, there's not much in there, right? So that is yet another reason we make this guarantee, because this is something our competitors and other people in this industry, they can't do this. They don't know how to do this. They don't have the guts to do this. They want you as a customer to take on all the risk and they don't want to have any other risk. And I don't like that. I don't think that's fair. So in the time when I can do something like this, which is extremely rare, but when I can, I want to take on the risk. If I ask you to do something, I want to be 100 times more invested in it than you are. And usually fate doesn't allow that to occur, but occasionally, rarely, it does. And this is one of those times.
So Jason, I'm going to address a question. I'm going to answer one question and attempt to address many questions at one time. So let me see, help me do this here and add on to what I'm going to say. I have a lot of people asking what if type questions. What if I don't have a product?
Great.
What if I've never run a Facebook ad?
Even better.
I just don't blah, blah. What if?
No, those all sound good to me. I like every one of those.
So here's how I'm going to attempt to do it. The guarantee covers you no matter what. Even if you screw up royally, if you make every mistake on the book, as long as you did it following the program the way Pedro teaches, you qualify for the guarantee. Then you come and show Jason. That's the second step of that guarantee. You show Jason exactly what you did, and he will tell you how to fix it. He's going to talk it out with you and say, this is the changes I would like you to make. Is that okay? And you're going to agree with him or disagree with him and come up with a different plan.
Yep.
And when you agree with it, you will go on your merry way and you will do it. And then you will either reach those level of profits or not. If you don't reach those level of profits, then you will come back one more time. And now you're going to work with him for a week or two or so.
Yep.
And you're going to get complete deconstruction and probably a redo of your challenge.
Right.
Okay. And so what are some of the things that you could mess up? You could mess up your offer.
You will probably mess up your offer, by the way. And if you've done this for 10 years, you'll still mess it up probably the first time you do it. But you'll make a lot of money because you don't have to get this perfect. This isn't brain surgery, right? This is more, you have a broadside of a barn with a huge target on it and you throw a ball at it. You probably won't hit dead center, but you'll still hit the damn barn. And that'll make it 10 times worthwhile for you, right?
Yep. So this is the power of this guarantee. We are so confident. We know with a 100% certainty that we can make this work, that you can make this work, not us, that you can make this work regardless of your skill, knowledge, or experience, that we can put that guarantee together. So if you're thinking about any obstacles whatsoever to you being able to succeed, the only question you have to ask is, am I willing to learn and follow directions? And if the answer to that is yes, then
there's no other question to ask.
There's no other question. All your other questions are irrelevant.
And by the way,
questions are noise.
If I may interject, I don't want to sound callous here, and I'm not upset at you. I'm frustrated with the things that you allow to get in your way because I know you can be successful. And so my job more than anything is to bring the TNT to blow up the bars of the mental prison that you put yourself in that limit your success. My distaste and utter disgust for failure actually seeps over into your business, and it doesn't just stay in my own business. I don't like your failure. I hate your failure worse than you ever could hate your failure. So if you're on my time and on my dime, right, I don't allow you to fail. And so let's address worst case scenario, Will. Let's say, and I think you have to be really good at this to screw it up. Like I was having a conversation with somebody the other day and talking to them about the monkey who picks stocks that could outperform the S&P 500, right? Like a hedge fund manager, your typical hedge fund manager, you pay them money to do worse than drawing stocks out of a hat, right? That's a special kind of screwing it up. You have to be an expert to screw it up when you could just randomly choose things and be successful. So in my state and with this program, I know you have to be especially good at screwing things up to screw this up. But let's say you do that. Let's say by the mother of all miracles, you managed to get everything wrong. You even put your right foot on your left foot shoe and your left shoe on your right foot shoe, right? That's how bad you screw it up. Okay, you run the wrong ads to the wrong audience for the wrong challenge, right? But you followed the videos. That's all you got to get right. And anybody can do that. It's kind of like, painting by numbers, right? What happens in that situation? The first thing that happens to you in that situation is I'm going to be working my ass off for you. There's no two ways about it. I'm on the hook for you and for your success and an obligation to it. I'm going to spend a lot of time and effort on it. You will cost me a lot of money, but that's okay with me because overall, I know so few people will end up being where that boogeyman was really real in your closet or underneath your bed. 99% of the time, it's make-believe, but this is how we kill that boogeyman with this guarantee. But in the off chance it's the case, I will go in on you because your failure will piss me off so much that I will make you succeed just based on my sheer will, and not just Will Matos, my sheer Jason and Will, right? So that's one of the reasons why. So let's say worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, as long as you show up and do your small part in this deal, 90 days from now, you will have made more money in a program than you probably ever have in your life investing in something online, because you will have made 4x your investment above and beyond recouping your investment in the course itself. You will see a 4x return in 90 days. Tell me what stock market produces that very consistently. This is like set by the watch. And most of you would spend more time watching a stock in the stock market every day, reading news and getting all caught up in that than you will actually running and deploying this program, right? That's worst case scenario, okay? Least likely to happen, possible though. So if that is you, doesn't it still make sense for you to sign up? And I think it does. Maybe I'm missing something here, right? Because here's what I know. I'll give you a caveat. If you have a course right now sitting in your inbox that has a better guarantee than this, with better bonuses than this, and more ethical people or as ethical people selling it as Wilson and I, buy that. But barring that, there is nothing else I can imagine that you're evaluating right now that would even come close to this, right? So your risk is, I might miss out on some other opportunity. Yeah, right. There's no other opportunity like this. Your second risk is, if I screw it all up, what happens then? You're 4 times richer in 90 days, right? And I will tell you, you got something better out of that than the money. Every big breakthrough I've had in my life came from jumping in the swimming pool, not reading how to swim out of a book. And you will have that experience and that value. So I know even if you don't hit it out of the park right away, at least you're in the field. And then you will hit it out of the park, because it's amazing what you put into action today that will pay off for you big time a year from now when you reach for it. And now you have it because you have the experience, where before you don't have the experience, right? A typical thing that will happen is this. You will get more stuff wrong than right, but you will still do well for yourself. And well is just a matter of degree. Some of you, well means like 50 grand. Some of you, well means like 2,000 because you've never made any money before in your life. So if well to use 50 grand, awesome. You don't need the guarantee. It was like an insurance policy. I pay insurance for my car. I've never had to use it, right? But I'm glad I have it just in case. Now, if you hit 2,000, you might be excited beyond all belief because you just paid for a course and got money back in a very short period of time. You got an audience, you got customers, you checked a whole bunch of firsts off on your list of being successful online. And you still have me in your corner to make you the other $8,000 or the other $6,000 or the other $4,000 or the other $1,000 or the other $9.22 because that's how short you were of 10,000, right? And here is the secret of all secrets. This will not sell the course. But I want you to know what is really possible with challenges. Challenges have this echo effect. Like when you yell in a cavernous area and you say, hey, and it goes, hey, 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 right? You run a challenge, the easiest thing you can do, rerun the same freaking challenge. And the second time you will work 1% as hard and you will have 10 times the impact by running the challenge again. That's why we're incentivizing you. Because if we can get you past the first hurdle, you now have momentum. You are now a snowball rolling down a hill, becoming an avalanche, right? And this is Will and I's devious scheme and trick of manipulation to get you to eat your vegetables, so to speak, to do what you should be doing anyway. That's why we create such a guarantee. And so the easiest way is you run it again. The more times you run the same exact challenge, the more money you will make. It is as simple as that. It won't be the funnest, freshest, most exciting thing, right? It's like being under a Christmas tree and having 10 presents, but they're all the same present. They're all $10,000 gold bars. So the ninth time you open up the gold bar, you're not excited because you know that there's gold in there, but it's still like 10 grand. Or maybe it's a 10 grand gold bar, 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand. Yeah, it's the same gift under the tree. Only the quantity varies. So it might not be super exciting creating new paintings all the time, right? But it is super lucrative. And then you can decide to create new challenges if you want to, like Pedro did, and eventually unlock a whole storehouse full of profit. But whatever the case may be, right? Regardless, you will be better off than when you started. You will have made money, and you will have experience and assets and resources that you can leverage, which are more valuable than anything I could ever give you. You will have your own audience, your own following, your own experience to draw from. And that is more valuable than anything you can buy from anyone on any sort of training or webinar, me included, right? But this is how Will and I go the extra mile to help you become successful, even when you want to fight it. Because my will to make you successful is stronger than your will to stay unsuccessful. And that's how we come up with these things that you don't see anywhere else. And yeah, I run the risk of looking like a gimmicky, Shamu salesman or ShamWow salesman, Carnival Barker, right? Tupperware salesman, call me whatever you want to call me, right? I run the risk of that, and I'm okay with that. Because for every person that I might turn off, it's a person waiting behind them that I will switch on and electrify, who was almost ready to make that decision, but otherwise wouldn't have made it unless I showed them the faith that I have in them by going first. And that's what we do. And that's why we're one of the most successful companies in the world in this space. So quadwin.com. Let's quad win you. Let's quad X your investment. Let's go, baby.
So Jason, questions regarding how they're going to get people into the challenges. And
yeah, dude, I'm willing to hang out here until every last one of you has the information needed to decide if you should purchase this or not, right? So I will answer those questions, even though, by the way, Will, those questions are insignificant in terms of the higher decision that needs to be made, right? But if that will help somebody say yes, I'd be happy to answer that question, because the question is, how do I get people in the challenges?
Yeah. Hey, Jason, let me interrupt you for just a second. We're not going to be able to stay here too much longer because otherwise it will take too long.
Oh yeah, damn it. Yeah, we got to get the replay out. I'm used to having more runway, right?
We have to get the replay out.
Son of a bitch.
So
I'm used to having more runway.
I know. So here's the answer to that question. I'm going to keep it super short because I know you want to give a much more comprehensive answer. It's in the course.
Yeah.
It's part of the course. How you get people to your challenge is part of the course.
And not just one part in one way. It's part of the actual course. It's part of the 30-day challenge that's going on inside the course that is its own experience. It's part of the live program that you're going to get access to. It's part of a lot of our bonuses, and it's part of our guarantee, right? And so I understand that if traffic has been an issue for you in the past that you've had challenges with, right? We will solve those. And you will get a roadmap to it, because there's no possible way I could make you a guarantee if I was not also solving a very real challenge that you're going to have. That would be reckless and disastrous of me, and it would cost me a lot of money if I was selling you a bike with one wheel, right? So that's in the course.
So I'm going to try again and answer more generically, because there are a lot of people who are still considering, what challenge should I run? What kind of challenge should I run? Can I run this type of challenge? I'm an author. Can I sell books? I'm a this. Can I sell that? I'm a that. Can I sell the other thing? Right?
Love it.
Here's the thing. Here's the beauty about this model, why it's so revolutionary, and why, without knowing who you are and what your expertise is, and or any of that, or even what you want to sell, we can make a blanket guarantee. So now think about this for a second. Add 2 + 2 with me here. I'm not saying if you have this type of product and you have this type of knowledge, I will guarantee. I'm saying anybody who purchases via quadwin.com, anybody, regardless of anything, there are no qualifications in your expertise or experience or type of product. If I can make that guarantee, do you not believe that any sort of challenge will work, or that I am telling you that any sort of challenge will work? So let me give you some outlandish, crazy, stupid examples. if you need to, if you want to teach people how to, if you want to run a challenge on how to knit socks for babies,
you would crush it.
Challenge for that and make huge amounts of money on.
Oh God, yeah, that's a great niche, right?
If you want to run a challenge on how
urban chickens.
What's that? Urban chickens. How to
absolutely
raise urban
would
chickens.
Crush it.
You can make money with that. That's a ridiculous, silly niche for most people. For some people, it's serious, right?
You got supplements? Will anybody here sell supplements? You would kill it on a challenge.
If you want to sell physical products of any kind, this is incredible. If you want
incredible.
To sell books, if you want to sell books, you already have a challenge. You don't even know it. If you're an author and you've written at least one book, you have a challenge already done for you and you don't even know it.
It's 1,000 times more lucrative than ever a book would ever be. And it will sell you more books than you ever could sell if you tried to sell books themselves, right? By the way, there are two types of people we're addressing right now that I know for a fact, Will. There are those that lead with their heart first. And so they want to sell products that they themselves get super excited about and are passionate about, right? So that's great. A challenge will allow you to do that. So again, as Will was saying earlier, if you're super into and super excited about how to help chiropractors who only run cash practices do better, right? You would kill it in a challenge with that, right? Now, there are others of you who are not heart-first entrepreneurs, you're head-first entrepreneurs, right? And so if you discovered that people want to buy a specific thing in droves and you don't have any experience with that thing, but you can do math and say, whoa, that makes a lot of money and it will be easy, then you could do challenges with those products as well, right? So Will and I made a lot of money selling beauty products, and I don't even know how to spell beauty products, much less use them, right? We saw opportunity. We saw a gap of service in the marketplace. We saw the ease in which we can get in front of people, and that's why we made a decision to sell that. I'm a big fan of selling both heart products and head products. But the thing is, some of you, now some of this varies by degree too. If you need to make the mortgage payment, right? You should just sell head products because that is a math equation. If I sold this type of product to these types of people, I would make a fortune, regardless of my personal expertise, because that's not needed, regardless of my understanding of that niche or of that subject matter, because that's not needed either. You'll find out in the challenge why that stuff is inconsequential. Remember when I said the product is the byproduct? It's the solution that you offer. We connect people with a solution. That's what a challenge does most effectively, right? And so depending on your situation, your first challenge may be a head challenge where you just need to make money quickly, and that's just a math equation, and that's fine. Or it might be a heart one where you're really passionate about something, excited about something, and you want to do something with it. And that's great. You can do that as well. It can be a physical product or it can be a digital product. It can be a software, by the way. It can be a coaching program. It could be a consultation program. It can be a service, right? Most of my Amazon sellers, well, we really screwed this up. I wish I could do a do-over. I could do a whole training on how Amazon sellers who sell physical products on Amazon can make a killing with challenges. A lot of the challenges.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
So let me just give an example. So I mentioned an example I pulled out of thin air, right? The baby socks, knitting baby socks, because it was such a ridiculous example, right? But it's not a ridiculous example, and no ridiculous idea that I can come up with is ridiculous at all. So
yeah, well, I'll give you a challenge right now that people would kill it with.
So Patrick asked, for example, Jason, like I said, the baby knitting socks, right? And he said, so what would you sell? I mean, Patrick, let me give you an idea. And by the way, this doesn't apply just to baby knitting socks. It applies to almost everything. You could sell a course on how to knit faster and better and prettier socks. You could sell the materials to knit socks, right? You could sell patterns to knit socks. You could sell socks that are already done for you that you've already knit. You can you can promote an affiliate offer for anything related to knitting socks. And by the way, if people knit socks, do you think they're going to want to knit scarves and hats and blouses and whatever else? So now you can take them to the next level. So you can do this with absolutely anything. So now I know.
Well, I'll give you the best offer you could ever make if you couldn't make any other offer. You get done with the challenge and said, hey, who wants to continue this where we get together every week and talk more about baby stuff, us baby enthusiasts, right? You would sell the lights out and you'd have a continuity program making you money month in and month out, right?
So it's a no-brainer. So you give me any example, right?
Any example, yeah.
I mean, a physical product. You want to sell, and you don't have a physical product, but you like a physical product. If there is something that you like, a product that you love, that you're passionate about in your home right now, you could literally say, I could do a challenge around that product.
Yep.
Because that product solves a need or gives you an experience of some type. You could say, you could do a challenge on how to get the most out of my back brush.
Yeah. Or even just like
back brush your way to better health in 7 days, in 5 days.
Yeah, clear skin challenge. I'll tell you guys, a lot of challenges you can tap into is like less screen time challenge. So a lot of people have issues with too much screen time or screen time before bed, right? So you do a no screen time before bed challenge. And you say, listen, I'm the worst offender out of all of you, right? So I have to hold myself accountable to you, and you hold yourself accountable to me, and we'll be a support group. You will kill it.
Okay, so here's another like crazy off the wall idea. Who has a garage that's full of stuff, full of junk? How about you clean your garage and feel better challenge, right?
Yeah, declutter challenge,
what product could you possibly promote out of that? What product could you possibly promote? You could say, listen, for my challenge, I found that these storage bins on Amazon work really, really well.
Yeah.
So here are the storage bins that I recommend. Get 10 of them on Amazon. If you have a 1-car garage, if you have a 2-car garage that's full, get 20 of them. And I'm going to show you in the challenge, we're going to clean up our garages together. I mean, who the heck needs any skill to do that?
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the books that I recommend. The Magic Art of Tidying It Up by Maria Kondo. Go ahead and buy that book from Amazon and all that kind of stuff. They got programs, by the way, that have affiliates with higher commissions if you want to promote that. It doesn't really matter. Anything you're struggling with can be turned into a challenge. The downward dog challenge for yoga, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. This is why I like this. What I like about this even more, Will, is unlike product and unlike a lot of other things that you have to create, you just come up with the idea, and then the challenge itself is the creation of the product. And every time we ran a product, the best insights and the best outcomes don't come from us. They come from the attendees. And by the way, the smaller your initial challenges, the more successful you'll be, because you'll know everybody by name. And that's what's so powerful about it. There will be a connection. And listen, trust me or don't trust me, just buy the damn course, try it out. Worst case scenario, and you don't even have to do anything. You could get all your money back from the regular guarantee. If you want to do it and work it through, the worst thing that will possibly happen to you is you'll get all your money back in your course, and you'll get 4 times profit of an ROI of whatever your investment is 90 days from now. That's it, right? And then you can put us to the test, and you can see how much of this was designed just to try to get you to buy something versus how much of this is legitimate. The hardest thing we ever have to do is convince you that you're worth it and that you can do this, because you say, I don't know how to drive traffic, Jason. And I'm confident that even if you barely know how to do anything with traffic, this will change the game for you. You say, Jason, I don't know what to sell. I'm confident that this program will fix that for you. Jason, I don't know who to sell to. I'm confident this program will fix it for you. What I really like about Pedro, and I don't want to make fun of him or put him on blast, but like you should see, and you will see in his program, his pages are pretty ugly. I take personal pride in designing and laying out our pages like at quadwin.com, but they're a million times better looking than Pedro's challenge pages are. And the only good graphics he has is he outsources them and pays for them. But when he started, he had none of that stuff. In fact, to this very day, his challenges are all delivered inside Facebook groups that are 100% free to set up and run. And each and every deliverable is given inside of the Facebook group itself. And so if you can do anything on Facebook, you can follow this. If you're not on Facebook, get on Facebook, okay? I hate it too if you're like me and you're not on there, right? But let it run that way. And then once you get some money and get successful, you can complicate it if you want to, or you can take it to the next level if you wish to. But everything Pedro does, it's not from like a Jason Fladlien, Wilson Matos, rapid crush, 8 figures a year, multi-staff perspective, right? It's one damn guy on a mission to run challenges that doesn't have all these other resources. And so he keeps things super simple. And I think that's what you're going to enjoy about this the most, is it has so few moving parts involved, and all of it can be run natively inside of Facebook, which is why I'm confident whether you go the free route or the paid route or a combination of the two, you can win in a way where you never could win before, because you are changing the game and how Facebook treats you. They're like, oh, thank God, you're going to keep them in our nightclub. You're going to keep them sipping the sodas and listening to our music. Fantastic. We will allow you to be successful even when normally you shouldn't be successful. That's one of the reasons of many why this is a truly 7-year revolution. It's the 7th year since I've seen the last one and participated in it. And the cool thing is I've been on the ground floor because Pedro paid me for consulting originally when he was playing with this program. So I had some influence there, right? And Pedro came to me each step in the process to have me take a look at what he was doing and offer him suggestions. So unlike the previous revolution where Will and I broke every record and served more people and succeeded with more people from scratch than anybody in history ever had before from an affiliate bonus perspective and all that good stuff, right? I didn't have any influence on that initially. I saw what happened and then we got behind it. This one, I've been there before day one, counting the days. I was in pre-IPO in that 45-day quiet window where I couldn't say anything, right? But I was preparing and we were getting ready. And we were setting this up. And now we invite you to join us. Quadwin.com.
So Jason, I'm getting a little frustrated here because I myself, because I'm not making the point correctly, I guess, because people are still asking the question, what about this niche or that niche? So like, for example,
it's programming, right, Will? So people, it's hard. This is what's hard, Will. In one damn webinar, it's hard for me to counteract 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 times you've doubted yourself. Or you said, well, what about this? Or I can't do this, or I've tried this before in the past and I failed. So in one aspect, there's nothing we can do, even promising you money, if you just try it out, that's going to necessarily counter that. What will counter that for you is just to have faith and just to say, what? I'll try it. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm not sure if I can do it. I don't even feel prepared to do it, but whatever. Let me try it anyway. And in
so I'm going to try one more time because I don't
try it anyway.
I'm going to try one more time.
Try it anyway.
I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to try 2 more times in a row. So I'm going to answer one question specifically. I forget. I think it was Steven that's asked the question. What about the financial services like financial planning market?
Oh God.
Oh,
I know several people.
Right? So, but hold on. So Steven,
sorry.
Absolutely 100%, 1 million times yes. What a ridiculous gold mine. So easy.
Yep.
So easy. But let me ask this. If anybody's wondering if it'll work in a specific niche or market, type it in right now. Just type in the question, will it work in, and then put your market. Will it work in and put your market?
Financial services is probably the easiest one.
Yeah. Okay. Will it work in coaching? Will it work in physical? Will it work in recovery? Will it work in fibromyalgia?
Recovery is also another one that works.
Coaching? Will it work in real estate investors? Will it work in financial? Will it work in yoga? Will it work? 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 Okay.
I've done yoga challenges.
Now I want you to all answer. It doesn't matter what niche you asked about. I want you to write your question. Yes, it will work. You're going to write that in the chat yourself. Yes, it will work. And that is your answer, because it doesn't matter what you ask me. Fashion, yes, it will work. Yes, it will work. So the question is, will it work in? And it doesn't matter what you put in after what will it work in. Your answer will always be, yes, it will work in that niche. Period. That answer. If you ask me anymore if it'll work in a niche past this example, I don't think I can help you, unfortunately, unless you just take a leap of faith. And I hate not being able to help somebody, but I am answering you a blanket. There is no exception. And here's why there is no exception. Because again, here's how you know there's no exception. We are not telling you to run your challenge to qualify for the guarantee in any specific niche, market, or area. We are putting our money where our mouth is, regardless of what niche you choose. We're not telling you. You could literally pick the most obscure niche that could ever.
People who hate challenges challenge. Let's do a challenge for people that can't stand challenges. You could do it in that, right?
It doesn't matter. The point is, it doesn't matter. Therefore, it will work. So if your question is, whether it'll work in a specific niche, and that is your decision criteria, the answer is yes. And your only option now is to go invest, because with the guarantee that we've put in place, the only reason you don't invest, I'm going to be blunt here, Jason. I'm a little tired today, and I didn't sleep much, so I'm a little bit, what do you call it, grumpy today.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on a little bit on the tough love thing here.
I'll be the good cop, you be the bad cop, right?
Which is usually the opposite, right?
I know, right?
We're reversing roles today. Look, the only reason you won't invest in this today is if you don't like money.
Or you don't believe us.
Or you don't believe us. That's true. That's true. I kind of assume that given our history, people just believe us, right? If you don't believe us, ask Jason's cat.
He's been on more webinars than any of you, right?
Ask Jason's cat.
You could do a cat challenge, by the way. Easy.
So okay. Now I've gotten a couple of this type of question before, and this is real. This is real and realistic. It's a great question. How about the time commitment? That is awesome.
Yes, that is a very great question to ask.
That is a great question, because here's the beauty of it. Don't quote me on the exact minutes, but Pedro's complete training is somewhere around 7.5 to 8 hours long. That's it. The whole entire course, all the videos you have to watch. Now, you have to do a little more work past that to run your challenge, of course.
Right.
But it is also the least amount of investment to implementation that I have seen in a long time.
For a course of this investment price tag, right? Usually they have to make it 60 hours long to try to justify the price point, right?
So Jason, Steven, I love Steven. Yes. Will it work even if you're grumpy? Yes, it will.
The grumpy challenge. I am challenging myself to be less grumpy. If you suffer from grumpiness as well, I'm challenging you. And you could probably crush it with the grumpy challenge. Whatever your constraint is, that should be your challenge, by the way, right? So, discovering your niche challenge. And you say, listen, I don't know my niche, but I'm going to work through this and I'm going to teach you how I find mine along the way. There's this concept that whatever gets measured, you can manage. Now, whatever gets measured and reported improves exponentially. So I screwed that quote up. So whatever gets measured improves. Whatever gets measured and reported, it improves exponentially. So it's really selfish of you to do a challenge, because you will measure and report your own progress or lack thereof. And you will discover you can now do things you never could do before. But that same sort of challenge to rise to the occasion, which we're all hardwired to respond to, exists in every single buddy. So the rise early challenge, the 5 a.m. challenge, get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, right? Greatest challenge I ever did last year that transformed me more than any was a 30-day hot yoga challenge. So I stepped up and said, I want to do 30 days straight in the hot room of Bikram yoga. And that did more for me than any damn book I ever read on fitness did, or any coach. And I had fitness trainers and coaches and personal whatevers come to my house, right? None of them made an impact on me more than that. A meditation challenge, meditation for people who hate meditation challenge. The list just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And people want to be part of something that they can influence. They can't influence a course outcome. It's really hard to do that. And it's hard for them to feel like collectively we're all in this together when you're doing one-on-one coaching to start the deal off with, right? And they don't get that with physical products. People want support groups, and this automatically provides them. This is the most powerful thing. Somebody has trouble losing weight trying to follow a diet or read a book, right? But if you do a challenge related to a specific outcome with dieting or food or weight or fitness, changes the whole game. All of a sudden in the info world where you get almost no results, now you're getting more results than you could ever manage, and you're not even doing anything special. You're just getting people to step up and say, for a short period of time, I will make this a focus, and I'm in this with others. The real limitation is when you feel like you're not in this with other people. So what's really cool is, in addition to the training that Pedro gives you, he will put you through a challenge himself. So think of that as like your graduation school. If you want to go through that and you need that extra help, you can. If not, you don't need to. Time commitment wise, is a challenge is very flexible. You know, like selling products on Amazon, not so flexible. You got to have certain products that are in certain price points with certain weights and certain sizes, right? And that's okay. Sometimes that's how the opportunity lands, right? But Pedro, if you want to do a 3-day challenge, do a 3-day challenge. You want to do a challenge where you go live every day and just have discussions, you can do that. Or you want to do it pre-recorded, you could totally do that, right? If you want to do it by text and by email alone or by a WhatsApp group and say, we have only 300 people we can put in this challenge because WhatsApp groups have only 300 people. Doesn't matter, right? What matters is the spirit behind it, is this challenge to come together and step up and rise up to the occasion. And it really brings people out of the woodwork. Such a great irresistible offer. And then the second thing that makes it work is now the technology, the way and the pacing and the way that Pedro has discovered to structure it makes it super effective. So challenges have always been good, but because of timing and because of Pedro's specific step-by-step technique, he's unlocked the real magic inside them in a way that nobody else has. And when I see that, that's when Will and I say, how do we get this into the hands of the people that we love and care about the most? How do we get this in the hands of our best customers? How do we get this in the hands of the people that genuinely are willing to do some work to make a success of themselves online? And that's why we come up with these bonus packages. And that's why we come up with these guarantees. And that's why Will and I kill ourselves, it feels like, putting in all this time and this effort and going this long. We're on what, hour 3 of this webinar, right? And I just got done doing a challenge last week so I could have it fresh in my DNA prior to this. You know, I don't know. I love you guys, but sometimes you're like my children. Sometimes you get in your own way. Sometimes you say, I'm scared of the dark, Jason. Will you come in and lay next to me and tell me a story, right? And I will. But at one point in time, you got to be okay with being scared of the dark and still learning how to survive. And a lot of people won't do that, right? But the people I touch and influence, the people that I can reach out to, I expect a little bit more from you because you got us in your corner. And Will and I, we go the extra mile. Most people's extra miles is our warm-up. And that's a fact. And so for you, I'm just saying, come on in. The water is warm here and it's comfortable. And we're going to help you at first. And if we got to slap the safety jacket on you, and if we got to hold your hand, we will. But eventually you're going to learn to swim, damn it. And you're going to swim from one side to the other. And on the other side, that is the side that has all the riches that you deserve and that are waiting for you. Quadwin.com is the start of that journey together.
I love this. I'm getting some really cool examples of challenges here, Jason, that people just don't know how to monetize. So
yeah. See, by the way, in our consult, after you do your challenge, whatever you do, I'm confident, by the way, that you will do better than you think you can. So that's why I can make that guarantee. You come on with me, though, I absolutely, it's impossible for me not to unlock massive amounts of cash in any opportunity with any challenge idea or scheme you come up with, right?
Yeah. So like, for example, here's a cool one. I won't say cool because maybe it's not politically correct to say cool to this, but it's a great idea for a challenge, how to monetize a behavior challenge, like dealing with anxiety. That's perfect because I know for a fact that there are products out there that help with anxiety. For example, if there's something that somebody can hold, or if it's a child who has anxiety, perhaps a stuffed animal, a specific type of stuffed animal, or a specific blanket.
Yeah, weighted blankets, things like that, right?
A weighted blanket. So as part of your challenge, you can say, listen, we're going to proceed with this challenge. This is the tool that I'm going to use, this particular weighted blanket or the specific stuffed animal or the specific whatever. Here's a link for you to go purchase one so that you're ready for the challenge, right? Yep. You're not hard selling it. You're simply telling people what the tool is that they're going to need in order to complete the challenge. And they're going to love you for it because then you're providing value. See, here's the coolest thing about challenges is that it crosses all potential gamuts of product types. And I don't mean products as in physical products. I mean any offer that you want to make, whether it's a live event or coaching or physical product or supplements or information products or just fun, right? Anything that you want to do with that regard. But it also crosses the entire volume spectrum from the most mundane, useless, quote unquote, right? Useless to some people or is useful to others, right? But
Right,
from
right.
the most like seemingly useless situation all the way to you can literally change the entire world.
Yeah, like the ice bucket challenge did, right?
The ice bucket, such a ridiculous thing, right? Dump a bucket full of ice water on top of yourself. How many millions of dollars did that raise to a very important charitable organization, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can literally, like Jason ran the Unite Challenge, which most of you were part of, or at least some of you are part of over the last week. How many lives? Look in the Facebook group for the Unite Challenge. How many lives Jason changed? The volume spectrum was
Yeah.
way
And it
high.
was less about what I said. It was more about what I asked them to do each day of the challenge. And people were getting the answer inside of themselves more so than any advice that I was giving them. And that's the power of it, right?
It can be something like that doesn't really change people's lives on a deep
Right,
level,
right,
but
totally.
it could be something like, hey, how do you get to go on more vacations every year? How do you get
Yeah,
let's get the free vacation challenge going. I know at least one of our customers enjoys free vacations year
yep,
long and has been doing so for 3 years. And yes, I'm talking about Jody. Um,
nice.
and she gets paid to do it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like a challenge like that. How do you get that type of situation? How do you get your kids to eat more vegetables challenge? How do you
Or
reduce
even you eat more
tax?
vegetables challenge, right?
Right. How do you eat more vegetables? How you do be, I mean, it's mind boggling how wide open this is because there's literally no wrong niche.
Yeah.
That's what's so powerful about it, Jason. Ever since I've started my path into internet marketing, the most difficult thing has been how to choose a niche, how to
Yeah, yeah,
choose the
always.
right niche, and
Yeah.
then when you choose the niche, how do you find the audience for that niche? And today, that's easier than ever because it's so easy to find people that are like you with things like Facebook, for example, that have an
Yep.
interest because if you search for a group on almost any topic, you will find a group.
Yeah.
And within a group, you can run a challenge,
Yep.
right? It is
Yep.
so
The
easy
best
to go
ones are
live
these
in a
little
Facebook group and
1,000-person
say,
micro niches. Best challenges you could ever run. Like really narrow challenges, right?
yeah. So like you don't even have to, I mean, go in a Facebook group and say, hey, everybody, I'm thinking about running this challenge because I want to improve this on myself. Who wants to join me?
Yeah.
Right? That's it. You don't have to pay for traffic. Pedro
Yeah, there's
teaches
so
you
many
something.
ways because it's so social. Most products are not social. Reading a book isn't social, right? Even going to a seminar is not social for 8 hours of the day because you're sitting in a room listening to somebody on a stage, right? So most change is antisocial, and this creates change via the social aspect. It's like why Weight Watchers was able to be so successful because they've had people come together and hang out, right? It's why yoga blossomed in the West. They took something in India, which just the renunciated class kind of did in the woods somewhere, and they made it so everybody started doing it, and more people do yoga, it feels like today, just to hang out and have something to do, not some sort of spiritual inner third eye kind of stuff, right? But there's so many ways when people feel like we're in this together. That's the first part. The second part, everybody loves to be challenged under the right set of circumstances. We all respond well and positive to a challenge for something that excites us because it makes us feel hopeful for the future, and it makes us bring out of us, and we can all sprint for a short period of time. We typically look at our problems as marathon-like distances, and the reality is they're sprint distances. But it's hard to sprint or do a marathon if you can't take the first step. The challenge gets people taking the first step, and that is what the dormant absolute power is that already exists in them. And then when you combine it with Pedro's system, it makes that power accessible to anybody who's willing just to pay attention through the short, brief, step-by-step tutorials that exist out there. But yeah, I can't wait for you to be delightfully surprised at how what used to be your biggest challenge, get it, of just getting started, now becomes as simple to you as tying your shoes. And it just never ends. What is a problem you're having in your life that you're facing right now, a day-to-day issue or a day-to-day problem? Can it be made into a challenge? Chances are it can. You probably have more than one issue, and you just run down the list, and that becomes what you consider for your challenge topics.
I love that, Jason. The more issues you have, the more profitable you can be.
Yeah. I want to take the most screwed up of all of you, because you're probably going to be the easiest to turn into profit, because I'll say, give me your list of problems. Challenge, 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 challenge. And isn't that wonderful how you will benefit from this the most, right? So, the yoga instructor who says we're doing a challenge, a 30-day challenge, right? Here's what happened. My wife took that challenge the day she walked into the studio. So she walked in, and the studio owner says, you should do a 30-day challenge. And my wife decided at the end of the day, wanted to do a 30-day challenge, right? Not only has my wife been a member of that studio, she also went and got teacher certified, which was like a $6,000 sale, right? She also got me in, and I paid for a full year of membership because I saved, get this, $100 as opposed to paying month by month. And for me, that's a good deal, right? So she just got $1,200 out of me on top of that. We've referred several people to them. And they also do hot Pilates there. And now my wife is entertaining the idea of becoming a hot Pilates instructor, which I think is $5,000 or $6,000 more dollars. Now, here's what I'm pretty confident of. If my wife didn't take the challenge the first day she stepped in there, I wouldn't have went in there, because I saw her results and then I did it as well, right? We wouldn't have referred all the people that we referred to her. She wouldn't take the certification and the instructions of anything else. And the best part about that is it's so selfish of the studio owner to do the challenge, because it makes her so much more money than if somebody doesn't do the challenge. And that's what's so great about it, is these challenges are all going to be in your best interest, but it doesn't matter because of the power and the impact that they will have on other people. And that to me is fascinating. That's why you don't need 1 million people. You need a few people who can deeply resonate with the challenge, and they will go so far with you, and they will refer so many people through to you. And that's why it's inconsequential to me what you sell. Because if you don't know what to sell, do a challenge anyway. And on day 3 or 4, it will be screamingly obvious to you what you should be offering, because people will be complaining that if you don't have a resource or a solution for them, right, then they will beg you to find one. And that's how Pedro started his challenge, by the way. He had no monetization plan. He showed up, and finally they're saying, listen, we need help with this, Pedro. Do you have a resource? Please offer us something where we can go further with this. No joke. That's how he did it, right? And to me, that is so beautiful. That is the most beautiful, elegant thing of all. And that is, if you look at every revolution we went through, Will, and Amazon, it was the same way. People are like, damn it, I want to buy this on Amazon, but I can't find it. So we made our money by making that easy to find, or putting it up there when it wasn't there before. Product launch formula, which was a revolutionary approach when it came out in 2007, the reason that was so powerful, or 2005 is when it first came out. I bought in 2007. I got in on it then. But the reason why that's so powerful is you could create a sequence of events where people would say, what are you selling? I want to buy it. And they couldn't buy it yet. And that was revolutionary. And then when we sold WordPress software, which was our first big breakthrough in terms of revolution, Will and I, we created a lot of WordPress tools. WordPress powers 25% of the internet. But for some reason, the only people making those offers back then were making them to like the techie open source blogger crowd, right? And Will and I, by accident, not on purpose, we tapped into that revolutionary experience by creating those tools, because people were basically screaming at us, please create this. And we were the only ones that saw that, because everybody else was like speaking geek speak. Everybody else was Steve Wozniaking it, engineering it. And we were Steve Jobsing it, looking at it from a design perspective, an elegance perspective, and consumer perspective. And those were the cycles that we got in on. And this is going to be the biggest cycle of all, because who needs help right now? I would argue more people than ever need help right now. And I would imagine during these times, it is the best time to do a challenge, for no other reason than people need a distraction. People need a distraction from the craziness and madness that's going on. You need a distraction from it. So let's distract together. Let's be co-conspirators of distraction. You distract people with a challenge. You distract yourself by distracting other people, and then everybody gets better as a result of that. So think of all the issues and problems that are being boiled up to the surface right now, and do positive focus challenges on them, right? So meditation challenges of all sorts. There's like 150 different variations of a meditation challenge. There's 100 variations of an anxiety challenge. There's a get a new job challenge, right? There is a boost your immune system challenge. There is all sorts of hobby-based challenges around each and every hobby. If you have a hobby, what's a challenge around that, right? Just even on the online space. If there are things you want to learn how to do in the internet marketing realm, do a challenge on them and you'll do better than gurus ever could do from a challenge. Because if you're like, listen, I want to start a YouTube channel. So anybody else who wants to start a YouTube channel as well, each day, we're going to take it step by step to set up our YouTube channel together. And you will be more relatable than a guy like me who's been on YouTube since before Google owned it, right? Or if you want to say, we're going to set up we're going to register our first domain together and set up hosting for it. Take the domain and hosting challenge, right? Will, that would crush. And it's so simple. And guess how you get paid? You recommend a hosting program that you get an affiliate commission on, and you recommend domains you get affiliate commissions on, right?
You know, hosting companies that I haven't looked for a couple of years, but I bet they're still about the same. A hosting company that charges $9.95 a month will pay $100 commission for a sign up.
Yep.
Because they know how long that customer is going to stick and all the upsells that they're going to sell the customer, extra this, extra that, premium this, premium that. So yeah, that would be such an easy one. How to set up your first blog.
Yep.
Oh my God, here's a crazy one. This would be amazing. Target brides. How to set up your bridal blog challenge.
Your bridal wedding invitation, your digital wedding invitation, right? Do it yourself. And then target all the soon-to-be brides, right?
Yep.
Easy
so
peasy.
You just teach them to go buy a domain.
Install this theme.
Install a WordPress theme.
Yep.
You teach them how to and you can do this in 3 days. You can do a 3-day challenge. It doesn't have to be 5 or 7 days. You can do this in 3 days, or you can do it in 5 days. Yep. And then you can sell them something. First of all, you don't need to sell them anything else because you're probably going to make $100 commission each from the hosting company. But you could totally sell and promote other things to them after the fact, because guess what? You're going to have an audience of brides. Guess what brides do? They spend money. No offense to brides here. It's just weddings have what I call the wedding tax. Everything related to a wedding is expensive.
I paid $7,000 in flowers for our wedding, right?
Right.
The most beautiful flower arrangement you ever seen in your life. When we got married in Hawaii, we couldn't even take the flowers back with us. $7,000. Was it worth it? Hell yeah, it was worth it, right?
So Jason, we gotta start.
I know we gotta wrap. I didn't even think
now, so we can get the recording out because it is so time sensitive. We don't have like 5 or 6 or 7 days like we normally do for people to watch a recording. So we got to get this out. Poor Sabrina is going to be working overtime to get this for you. So everybody, thanks Sabrina for being able to get this out sometime today or tonight to you. She's working overtime on that. And let me just say this to you. I wish, Jason, I truly wish from the bottom of my heart that we could get every single person still left on this webinar. After 3 hours and 10 minutes, there are still 241 people here. That all of them would take the plunge because there's nothing to lose. It's literally free money. Right? It's literally free money as long as they do the work.
Well, there's one thing that they could lose, and it's this. They could lose their old identity of not being able to succeed online. That's the risk that they lose. And some people are attached to that.
Yeah.
Some people are attached to staying where they're at because they're afraid of what they might become. And that's real. That's not a joke, right? The fear of success is scarier than the fear of failure. So the only thing you have to lose is what you already know, which is...
That's a great self-reflective question. I would ask anybody not investing today who hasn't yet invested, because they're going to invest today or later tonight, right? Anybody who hasn't yet invested. I expect them to, damn it. Yeah. I would ask yourselves, am I scared of success? Because that's a really powerful fear that most people don't even realize they have. Like, what will happen to me when I'm successful, right?
What would happen if I had a bunch of people in a challenge?
What will happen to me when I turn $2,000 into $10,000? What will change in my life? What is scary about that, right? Because if there is a fear, then I invite you to do this. Create a challenge on fears and overcoming fear. And there you go. There's your answer. And if you absolutely cannot overcome your fear, then unfortunately, you're going to be amongst the few that we may not be able to help.
Yeah. And you will end up buying programs that will tell you what you want to hear, but will never ultimately serve you. So you will buy things, but they won't be the right things for you. And that'll be sad times two, because we lost you because we couldn't help you. And something else that you spent your money in would never help you. And I've seen that too many times to count. People want a solution that requires no interaction with other human beings, but that doesn't exist. People want a solution where they don't create real world value in exchange for their money, and that doesn't exist either, right? Not legally, at least. Illegally, it does exist, but that would be stupid, right? And so that is the challenge, is there is some things you have to take responsibility for. And there are certainly a long list of people who will sell you products that will tell you you don't have to take responsibility for the things that you do. And it's easy to be seduced and brought in by those people. Will and I are telling you, yes, we expect you to run a challenge. Yes, there are going to be challenges with running a challenge. Yes, you will most likely make more mistakes than what you get right. And here's why you should do it anyway. It's still the very best thing that you could ever do. And then how do we prove that? How do we show up, right? We sit here and we do our best to explain it to you. We add incredible bonuses that take a lot of effort, time, and are really valuable in their own right. And then we back it up with not just a money back guarantee, or not with just a little bit better than money back guarantee, right? But with a quad win guarantee that is significantly on us in terms of fulfillment and very individualized to deliver to you, because we are taking the same approach we're asking you to take, but only in a deeper degree. We want you to invest in the future. So we're investing in you, not just asking you to invest. And we are investing significantly more than what we're asking you to invest in terms of our time and our effort, because we are playing the long game. We know that this will come back to us in a very, very, very bigger way in the future, but not immediately, right? And not at first. You will have to make an investment and know that you're going to have to put in some work before it comes back to you. Just buying this thing and thinking you've done something, no, you didn't do anything yet, right? But if you're willing to invest in your future, knowing that you have a safety net that is better than any other safety net anybody else is going to offer you, that's how we're making it in your best interest to entice you to invest in the future. And that's why we're also doing it. I'm not asking you to do anything I wouldn't do. I'm asking you to do what I do, because what we do has been extremely successful. And if you model that, even if it's just a little bit of that, right? Just stand on my shoulders. And then you will get the benefit of the vantage point that I already have and that I can see. And I want you to stand on my shoulders. And I will do the heavy lifting, but you got to stand on my shoulders. So let's do this together, quadwin.com.
So Jason, I'm going to read a comment from Rob because I just think this is so impactful and powerful. Rob says, I am afraid of success, but fear is a liar. Today I've had it. I will not live like this anymore.
Damn. I felt that right here for some reason. I felt
wow.
the tingles, right?
Rob,
usually I feel the tingles back here on my neck. For whatever reason, I felt it right here.
I mean, Rob, that is so powerful. Thank you for that, Rob. You've given us a gift today by just saying that. And you've given people here on this webinar a gift. You have a gift. I have zero doubt you'll be successful, Rob. And I look forward to hearing about your success. That's the other thing that I will ask of people here, Jason. Even if they don't need to take advantage of our guarantee, they don't need the consulting sessions with you because they're just going to crush it right out of the gate. Would you please come back and just write to support@rapidcrush.com and tell us?
Yep.
Tell us about your experience, because we love the money. Don't get me wrong. We're no saints, right?
Yep.
We're capitalists. But we really, really love hearing about customer success because it drives us, it fuels us. There's all kinds of things that we could do that doesn't involve dealing directly with customers like we're interacting with you today that would make us probably a heck of a lot more money. But we choose to be here. We choose to help you. We choose to put our money where our mouth is.
Yep.
We at risk to take the risk away from you and bring the burden of risk onto us because we love to see customer successes. And so that would be your gift. That would be the biggest thank you could give us, is to just share in your success with us.
Yeah. And by the way, that can help you. Because again, once you know that you are if you put yourself out to say, listen, part of my plan is the day I go to Will and Jason and say, this is what I did. If you plan that out today before you do anything else, you will meet with success sooner, most likely, and it will be even more enjoyable because you're starting at the end and working backwards. And so that's actually in your best benefit. But for Will and I, it really helps us understand what resonated with you the most, what empowered you the most, what helped you the most when you tell us your success stories. And that often allows us to create even more resources in the future that we could give you for free for those of you who have already invested. And that's exciting too. Not that I can promise you anything specific or anything at all, right? But oftentimes when Will and I stumble upon something, it's from a customer success story. And we say, oh my God, how can we engineer what this person experienced so everybody else can experience it? And boom, that's the magic, right? So quadwin.com, I want you to get signed up right in there. I want you to let me know how it goes for you. And I want to be on that call with you after your first challenge, mapping out how we exponentialize it, all right?
All right, Jason. So I hope that we got through to our awesome customers here. And I hope that you take us up on that quad win profit guarantee because it's there for you to ensure your success. We want nothing more than to ensure your success. So take us up on it, make it happen, sign up as soon as possible, no matter what. Jason, put the guarantee up on the screen if you could, please.
My pleasure.
And then scroll to the bottom of the page and just show the timer real quick. Just the timer, scroll up a little bit. From the time, it's now 4:19 p.m. Pacific time, Los Angeles time on June 15th. There's an hour, 1 day, 7 hours, 40 minutes. By the time we get this replay out, it'll probably be at least 6 hours for us to process this thing, unfortunately, because it's so long. Hopefully a little sooner. There will be 1 day or slightly over a day left. You don't have a whole lot of time. You don't need time because if Jason scrolls up a little bit, you have the quad win profit guarantee to ensure that you will be successful and that you will absolutely make money as long as you just follow what you learn. Jason, scroll up a little bit more and let's look at the other guarantee because we barely mentioned it. There's one other guarantee that's really powerful because if for whatever reason you get in there, you invest today and you look through the course and it's about 7 or 8 hours of training altogether. Yep. Before you actually, you don't have to do work before that. You should, but you don't have to. You can watch the whole training in 7 or 8 hours. It's all open, all available to you. And you have 14 days to say, you know what? Even though I know I could make money and I could take advantage of Jason and Will's profit guarantee, I just don't want to bother. I just changed my mind. I don't want to make 4x my investment for whatever reason. I just don't want to. I have too much money already. I don't want to bother. Then take him up on the 14-day money back guarantee. Right?
Yeah, which by the way, I had to pull strings to get because he originally made it 14 days when he opened this. So that way before his live event, people were either in or out. Because of his live event, he wanted to make sure those were for committed buyers only. And that's why it is the way that it is. But I said, dude, can we bring that in too? So you will be able to go to his virtual live event that he's going to stream starting here on the 18th, which is why we got to close this tomorrow night. So you can go through that whole event to see the whole shebang, which is something no other Crush It With Challenges customer had the privilege of, what to speak of the quad win profit guarantee.
Awesome. So quad win profit guarantee is behind you to ensure that no matter what, as long as you follow the instructions in the program, even if everything else goes wrong for you, even if you pick the wrong niche, which there isn't such a thing, but let's say there was, even if you pick the wrong audience, even if you pick the wrong offer, even if you are awful at running it and you push the wrong buttons and you absolutely crash the whole internet, you can still make money because we're behind you. Yep. With the quad win profit guarantee. How is that for a guarantee? Even if you crash the internet, Jason.
I hope you crash the internet, right?
So awesome. So I hope we've reached you. I hope we help you get over your fears and your doubts because we've taken on all the risks. There's literally no risk to you. The only thing you have to worry about and be concerned about is how much more money do you want to make besides the 4x guarantee? Because the 4x is guaranteed to you. 4x is coming as long as you do the work.
Absolutely.
It's how much more do you want beyond that?
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, everybody.
All right, we'll talk soon. Bye for now.
And get the recording out as soon as possible. Take care.